Hello, everybody. We are live, and I'm here with some lovely people tonight. So introduce yourselves. Who wants
Hi,
to
I'm Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook.
Okay. How did you get started with Booktube? Tell us about Booktubing and how long you've been Booktubing and all that.
Oh boy. All right. So I didn't go first today. Well, no, just saying my name. No, I went on Booktube and just started looking around. I was trying to find other people of color. And I remember trying to figure out what keywords to kind of put in to find, other booktubers that looked like me. And I remember I came across yours, Dee Dee. I was so excited. And then I started watching your February, all the events you'd have every February for Black History Month. And that, when I started to learn, when I would watch those, then I would go through the comments, see if I could find other people. And that's how I would find people.
Yeah.
And I always thought it would be cool to do it, but was really frightened to do it. I'm like, oh, I don't know. There's people there. What do I have? The same questions.
Yeah.
What do I have to add to it? And my 11-year-old was the one that convinced me. He's like, Mom, just do it. You like books. And so what? If nobody watches, it doesn't matter. Somebody will watch you. Because first he said, I'll watch you. And as soon as one person subscribed, he unsubscribed. So he was my first unsubscriber.
Oh.
Like, you're all set now, Mom. But I wanted to be able to talk to people about books. And it's, there's not a lot of people around me. I've been in different book clubs and things like that, but they've come and gone, and different tastes and things like that. So I was excited to see there was a community out there, and to just try to keep honing in and finding more people so I could find. And with this year, I think it's really turned itself around where I can find people in all the different genres. So now I can turn to different people and find books that have people of color in all the different genres, which, if you don't know where to look. So it's really, like I was saying to Troi before we went live, it's like I read cozy mysteries, and I've always read they were always white characters, and he started listing off all these Black authors, and I was like, hold on, let me get my pen. I'm going to write these down. And I was so excited. Like, they're there. So it's another way to get authors out there for people to know about them. And so now I know I'm going to tell other people too, so, but I've loved it. I think the community's been really warm. I've gotten good, feedback, and, I think that it's been really fun. I'm just not as consistent as I'd like, but I've liked it. It's nice.
Okay. All right, ke-sha, you next.
Okay, ke-sha. My channel's ke-sha for today again. I've been around since 2012, but I haven't uploaded in like a year. And I decided to join BookTube. Like, it's still kind of early, but I was like looking for other people who read books and wanted to talk about them, because like I read a lot. Not a lot of my friends read a lot, or they didn't read a lot of the same things that I did. So it was nice to have that interaction with a lot of people. And plus, it was like when I started getting to Goodreads too.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Linda.
Hi, everyone. I'm Linda from LindaReads. I'm a booktuber based in Cape Town, South Africa. And for me, it's the idea that we're doing this is absolutely amazing, for me to be at the end of the world and to be connecting with you guys. And I guess that's why I started BookTube as well. I wanted a community of people who look like me, who perhaps maybe have similar interests as I do. And here I work in the literary community because I'm a poet and a writer, and I do a few things behind the scenes in the literary sector. And I just found it to be exclusive and elitist, and I just wanted to create a space where I can just be myself, read and review what I wanted to review, but also I saw it in my friends, and I saw it in the people around me. People were scared because you don't know the right jargon, you're not reading maybe the right type of books, and people felt like they couldn't they couldn't talk about books, you know, and I just created a channel just to be like, you can be like me and talk about books. You don't have to look a certain way, sound a certain way, have a degree, or any of these like you know, things that people impose on you. So that's why I started my channel.
I think it's interesting as what you said, that you not read that that they felt like they're not reading the right type of books, which is really weird because like, what does that mean? Like, what are the right types of books?
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, you know, opinions of what is good and what is not good. I mean, it's opinion, you know, but I always hate that, you know, that way that people, you know, say, oh no, those aren't the right type of books. That doesn't fit into the canon or the whatever. That always bugs me because it's a way of dividing people and pushing people out.
Yeah.
You know, of the group.
Exactly.
Yeah, the whole weird attitude. I can't deal.
Yeah, so yeah, I find like even on my channel, if you look at my channel, I'm a random reader. I read whatever it is that I want to read. I read new things. I read like really old things. I read happy, fun, like just across the board. I read whatever it is that I want to read, and I review whatever it is that I want to review. And I think it's the tagline on my channel, which is based on something that Steve Biko said, you know. He said, I like what I write, and I'm saying the same thing about what I'm reading. I read what I like.
Okay, who's next? Alicia.
Hi, I'm Alicia from the Pretty Brown Eyed Reader. I've been on BookTube since 2016, and I got started because actually my sister was supposed to start a makeup channel, and then she discovered BookTube for me, and she was like, you need to start this and do this. And so that's how I got started, actually, was because she was supposed to start a YouTube channel involving makeup, and she never did. And it's been a joy because I coordinate a book club at my local library, and sometimes the people, they're just not really there to discuss books. They're more of a social hour, and it gets on my nerves because I really want to discuss. And so it's better for me. I can put all my thoughts out there on YouTube, and people will talk back to me. So that's why I enjoyed having the BookTube channel.
Yeah.
Brown eye. Oh, is it my turn?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's you.
Oh, okay. My name is Troi Towel. I think I'm supposed to call it crazy one on BookTube. I've been on since January of 2013. The way I got started is a long story that involves a manager that pissed me off with that for a video. And I have got to say this, that I would not be here if it wasn't for Dee help her foot on my neck all this time to make videos, even when I kind of never wanted to. So thank you. I'm still here for you.
Okay. All right. Okay, so what are we talking about tonight? What's going to be the subject at hand? What are you guys reading?
Unforgivable Love.
I know everybody's reading Unforgivable Love.
Okay. Oh, you know what I started reading? And I don't know what to do because I am so slow, but I brought it too. The new one?
Oh, yeah, I see that around a lot.
She's coming, I think, March 4th, and I want to hear her speak. So I was like, oh, I got to read. So I had to dump what I was reading because I read so slow to see if I can read it before she gets here. But what I'm liking about it is she's putting all these things in there about historical events that I didn't know about. And that's, I like things like that in books. So I'm looking forward to like going and looking up further about different things. Like she'll talk about instances of the Black Panther and the relationship with the CIA and the FBI and you know, just like facts that I just didn't know. She kind of just throws them in there like you might know them. So I keep telling my husband, like, I have to keep going and looking up online to see if this person is real that she's talking about. But so far, it's really good. So I'm excited. So this is kind of like, this is what happens to me. It's like book ADD, because I'm reading something and then something comes up. And I found out she was coming, and I rarely get to see authors. I'm like, I want to, you know, go see her. So I don't know. Has anybody else read it yet already? I just started it.
I've seen it everywhere on Instagram, but I've not read it.
Yeah.
No. I haven't read it either.
I hope that so far it's good. It's very good. It's, you know, this sister who she's, you know, it's talking about her. It goes back and forth, talking about in time, but she wants to become, well, she said a spy, initially a spy when she was a kid. And it basically is carrying us through bringing all these historical events, but in the context of her journey to becoming, I think she's an FBI agent right now. So yeah, it's good. It's different.
Is it a YA?
I don't think so. I mean, you know what? This is the thing. There's things that I can tell distinctly and very easily is a YA novel, and other things that I feel like they're very mature. So I don't know if they are. I don't think this is, but would it say? I don't think it was pitched as a YA, was it?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just asking.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Not by what I've read so far, at least in my opinion.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm liking it. I'll review it when I get done. But I'm just hoping I'll finish it before she comes. I'm just gonna fake it.
Yeah, because I see it a lot. I've seen it a lot in the past week on Instagram, everywhere. That one.
I'm going to get back on Instagram. I am. I just got
because I don't know Instagram. I mean, so what is your take on Instagram for people that use it? Or should I say, what's your take on Bookstagram for the people that use it?
I like it because it's easier just to upload if you have like a quick thought about a book to put the picture up. So I actually like Instagram better than YouTube. It takes so long to get everything up for YouTube.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah, forget about it.
And so what do you think about the lack of like reviews on there? That doesn't bother you?
See, I don't use it. I used to use it, but I didn't use it for that. I'm going to come back and try to use it. I use the Litzy, but Litzy is so disconnected to me. Don't you think so? I feel like it's hard to find the people that I want.
It's like you're in a closed-in bottle. So
the idea was good because I like the idea of having pictures and being able to put comments. But I don't know. Maybe if I use Instagram like a Bookstagram.
The thing about Litzy that's good is that you can rate your books, and you don't rate them with the typical things like a 5-star or whatever. You rate them a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or you DNF'd it, or it's excellent. But the thing about that doesn't work is that when you want to move from one thing to the next, it's very difficult. It's not fluid.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make you want to stay on it longer. It just makes you want to post and leave, basically.
Yeah. Because you're scrolling through so much to find something that you're interested in. Yeah.
It's not that interesting, not that easy to use. Whereas Instagram, what's great about it is what Alicia said, is the fact that you can quickly upload a video or do live, or you can do all that stuff like at a blink of an eye. Whereas with YouTube, you got to be messing around with, you got to get the camera, you got to get the microphone, you got to get the lights up, you got to do all this to film a 5-minute video.
So
it winds up being a 10-15-minute video, and then you want to be like, oh Lord, nobody's watching this damn video. It's too damn long.
You want more reviews on there? You want more reviews on Instagram?
Yeah, because the thing that was making me tired with Bookstagram is the fact that everybody shows the same damn book.
Right.
Right.
People only like pictures of the books they know.
Yep.
And don't nobody review nothing.
Well, I like Reggie Reed's challenge with trying to get people to use, put more reviews on there.
He's trying.
He's trying.
He's bad at Reggie.
What are people doing? Just putting the picture of the book?
He asked people to review books that have less than 50 reviews on Goodreads.
Yeah.
And at least try to do two.
You have to go look it up and find out if it has.
Yeah, and that's annoying. Ain't nobody doing it.
I gotta be reading. Researching.
I agree, because you have to go and look for that information. You have to go and literally look through. Ain't nobody got time for that.
No. No, girl, you don't want to do that for every book. One time,
I'm not doing it.
It made me think about that some authors are not getting the reviews.
Right.
So it does make me kind of be more aware of making sure that I'm reviewing books more often than I have been.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I get it. I think it's a great endeavor. It's just give me a list. So I don't have to go through the whole thing, looking. Oh wait, does this one have less than? Just give me the damn list. Call it a day. Give me the list, Reggie. But that's what I think that Bookstagram is missing are reviews.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to post the same, you post, like, how many times am I going to see a picture of Marlon James's new book?
Right.
Girl, I'm tired.
Only
one person has reviewed that damn book.
But I think people use the different platforms for different things, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, for instance, I run living. So when I go on Instagram, it's literally to do one sentence and I'm out of there. Where else I feel like on YouTube, it's more intentional. It's more like when I have time, like put up my phone and talk on a video and that's it. Where else on Instagram, I think it's, for me, it's a more phone.
It's like a snapshot.
And I like because like Booktube, you also more than just the books, and there's something about that context that I actually really, really like.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's like a snapshot of your reading life kind of thing. But yeah, I think it has its good points, but it really does have its bad points. And one of those bad points is that you start to feel, you start to feel like every day you look is like a sea of books that either you've already seen or worse, that are new, that are just like,
yeah. And that's why I won't read a lot of books when they first come out either, because I feel like you're inundated with everybody. Oh, I got this, or we're going to read this. And I'm like, as much as I want to read it with everybody, I want to also form my own opinion about a book. And people talk about, I really don't have an excuse for Americana, because by now I should be read it, right? But when that book came out, it was like hey, she's here. There's another person here.
Oh, yay!
Way! Maria,
Lord. Yay!
I didn't. Okay, now stop the discussion. Marina, introduce yourself. Tell us about your how long you've been booktubing, everything about it.
Well, I've been booktubing since December 2018. Prior to that, I used to do YouTube for my hair, and I used to talk about books, but not so often. And somebody I won't name tonight used to tell me to come back to YouTube and do Booktube, because I love talking about books, I love reading books, and I follow all of you. And I'm the one who comments always to tell you, no, this is not exactly what I thought this was, or I thought it was easier to look at other people talking about books, and it was more interesting.
Yeah.
And Belinda, I used to send you messages to tell you that you weren't regular, you know, like, oh, you're not coming too often, I miss you. Troi, I'm not gonna say anything about you because you know what? My banker hates you because of this.
These are the best books ever. These are so good.
Blanche White.
You know, like I can go on and on because on my shelves, I have my books according to all of you. This is still Troi. Yeah.
Oh wow!
We got a whole bookshelf. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, through you, I discovered so many things, so many different authors, many different genre. Like I know that if I want to read some sci-fi, I will watch Jerry's channel, and I will know exactly which book to pick up. Or if I want romance, I will go to see Bree because she loves that and she talks about it. I used to read and criticize you, but now I'm nice. I'm looking at you knowing how tricky it is.
Wow.
So, voila, that's all I can say. I used to follow you, watch you, and buy the books according to your recommendation. That's how important you are. So yeah. So, wow. That's all I can say.
Perfect. All right. I'm glad you made it. So we were talking about Bookstagram. The T on Bookstagram. So we were talking about whether, you know, what we thought were the good points and the bad points about Bookstagram. Mm-hmm. What do you think are some of the good points for you and the bad points about Bookstagram?
The good point is that given that everybody read differently, we discover many things, different authors, new authors, because we don't read the same things and we don't like the same genres. And the thing is, when you have somebody who's specialized in a genre, it's easier for you, if you don't know the genre, to know which one to pick, which book to pick up first, which one to begin with, because they will give you that genuine point of view, telling you this is weak because of this or because of that. And when you don't know, you better go with somebody who knows already. Okay. Yeah. And the bad thing is that sometimes I feel like people just show off. They don't say much. I would like for them to, even if they don't give away too much information, because that is not what I'm looking for. I want them to talk a bit about the book, just to introduce it a little bit, or talk about the author. If you don't give away too much information, make it enticing at least. You know, don't just show a beautiful photograph that you made of you showing your hair, beautiful hair, and your feet with the book. Come on, I'm not gonna buy the book just because. Give me something to criticize, or give me something to make me want to buy the book or want to know something about the author.
Yeah,
that's the point.
Look, amen.
We have a question on the chat. Did you see the question from KT?
No, wait. Yes.
Oh, yeah, you read it.
Do you think Black authors pay enough attention to Booktube?
I think
that's a great question.
I think some of them do. Maybe not a lot of them, but I think some of them do.
I don't know. I mean, how would we know unless they've engaged in commented, right?
Yeah, unless they engage with other Bookstagrammers, it's the only way that you'll know. Like I know Bernice McFadden engages a lot with the community. There's also I can't think of what her name is. There was another writer who engaged with me just because I had put one of their books for one of the #ReadSoLit days. I can't remember the author's name right now.
Okay.
From Puerto Rico, I think. She's Puerto Rican, Black Puerto Rican, but grew up in New York. And the name of her book is, I think, Daughters of the Stone or Daughters of Stone. Something like that. Well, she engaged. I think they do look but they don't always engage. You know, if they're on Instagram and they're the ones that are doing their own account, I think they do sometimes engage.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Maybe you need to know if the publishing company, if they're giving them the information, because some people might not even know where or about the Booktube. You know what I mean? I don't know. Do you think that they all are aware of that when you publish a book?
Well, I think with Booktube, it's a bit more complicated, but with Bookstagram, it's a bit more evident for them because when an author has, like, for example, with Sophronia Scott, I just simply, I had, you know, this book, I chose her book for the read along, and then I tagged her in one of the pictures I did on my Insta stories, and she saw it. And she's like, oh, thank you for choosing my book for, you know, in honor of Black History Month. I'm honored, you know, whatever. And then a week later, I slid into her DMs because she started following me. And I just asked her, I said, you know, would you be available to come and chat with us about your book at the end of the month? And she said, sure, no problem.
Wow.
That's
that's why.
It's fine. Yeah. You know, so I think when they're on Instagram and they're running their own accounts, they are more open to speak to us.
Yeah.
I think it's just that, you know, when you kind of know that when you put a picture and you tag the author, and the author will then come back, because it's happened to quite a lot of people. Like just, I think it was not so long ago, Tatiana had tagged Alyssa Cole in a picture, whatever, and Alyssa Cole tagged her picture back on Insta stories.
Oh wow!
So they're there and they are watching, and I think they're going to start watching more because they start to see that we are circulating their books, we are talking. So it may not be evident, but I think it is on the rise.
Right. Left on Red said she feels like they were more active on Twitter, and I kind of feel like that way too. Like, but maybe I'm more on Twitter, and you can just add them right away.
Yeah, I have to agree with that as well, because I think Twitter is a platform that is more towards a intellectual type platform, whereas you know, Instagram is more like the beauty platform. Everything has to be pretty.
Visual. It's very visual. Yeah.
Very visual. So, but I think you know, they're on both. You know, I just think you have to approach the whole author thing. You know, meeting an author or having contact with an author in a delicate way. You know, if you tag them, and sometimes you can tag an author and they don't. You know, they may see it, but they don't say anything.
Right.
You know, because they don't want to have contact with someone. But in a lot of cases, they do come back and they follow you, or they'll say, "Oh, thanks for plugging my book or whatever." Because let's face it, a lot of authors these days have to do their own publicity.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot.
It happens to me.
Not the publishing company that does it. It's the author that has to do it.
Yeah. So
for someone that is probably a little bit introverted and used to writing and staying to themselves most of the time, suddenly now it has to be, Miss Congeniality and be on Twitter and on Instagram and, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot, So, I think anytime they can get some free publicity where they don't have to do it themselves, they're probably like, yeah, girl, thank you for that.
That's what I'm saying. I think maybe they're not always aware, I think that some are probably a little bit more versed in that than others.
Well, yeah, and this is I think what people don't realize is that writers are having to do their own publicity.
I remember you talking about that.
That, that is just a lot. Where do you start? How frequently do you show your book? Where do you show your book?
Yeah.
What do you do? You got to be on Twitter. You got to be on Instagram. You got to be on Litsy. You got to be on Goodreads. Who's got time to do all these things?
To do all that, right? But you wouldn't even think that. I'm not a writer, but I would think that wouldn't be the writer's job to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it is these days. Yeah. Unfortunately, they don't take over the publicity for every author that they publish. They do it for some, but not for
all that don't eat it.
You know, and somebody even told me that's even part of the reason why they're going to publish you in the first place. Because if they read the stuff and then they look at you and it looks like you won't be able to, you know, to do your own publicity, they may not want to publish you.
No.
So it's sort of like you got to have the full package. If you know what I mean. It's really tough out there.
There needs to be some organization there, you know. Go ahead.
Do any of you get ARCs from big publishers?
I have gotten ARCs, but I hate ARCs.
I've been at the NetGalley.
Sorry, I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I hate ARCs. I hate reading stuff where, you know, I've read ARCs where literally, you know, the stuff that you read in the ARC is not in the original. You know, like they're taking out pages or chunks.
Oh, that's really bad.
And then when you're reading the ARCs, you know, there are mistakes. There's, you know,
I hate
flow is
books, never mind.
I don't really like reading them. I just prefer, you know, if the book already comes out, can you send me a clean copy? If not, can you, you know, link me up to an ebook or something?
You do NetGalley?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done NetGalley, but it's just so much pressure. Like, you know, for me, I feel like you're obliged to finish it before it's published. And then I'll read something else and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to read this. And so then I feel like it takes the fun out of the experience of the book because I'm trying to get it done before they publish it. You know, so I don't like the obligation. I want to read something because I want to read it and at my own leisure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't do NetGalley as much.
You know,
Michael reads probably. Go ahead. I said Michael Reed says authors probably make fake accounts and leave comments. Don't get me started because that shit happened to me. That shit happened to me.
What?
That happened.
I believe it happens all the time on Goodreads, especially.
I believe it.
That happened to me with an irate, self-published author.
Yeah.
Who got mad at me because I gave him 3 stars instead of 5.
I remember that.
He told me because how I'm gonna give him 3 stars when I gave Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie 5.
Oh wow!
That's why. You know?
He thought he was on that level, huh?
But the thing was, he was so whack, this dude. He actually thought that I didn't know that the comments that were popping up under my video were him.
Were him.
He 5 different people.
And you ain't got no life.
Invented them, and then he put those ridiculous, those fake picture, those pictures you can get on Google
or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What book was that?
Stock photos.
One was an old white dude with glasses like this down on the edge of his, I was like, this dude is, and the thing is that the comments, he has a special way of writing. For him, the word a lot is one word for him. He writes a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was all over in all the comments. There were people that usually comment under my video, and then there were these 5 weird people that were like giving me sermons on what I was saying in the video.
Wow.
Like, dude, you need to quit. I said, because, so we got into this back and forth. He started harassing me on Goodreads because he was mad that I wouldn't give him 5 stars. So I told him, I said, well, if you wanted to have a review set to your standards, which is exactly what you want the person to say, you could have paid for one. Right. Not me. She said, you could have gone and paid someone else. Oh, I'm not going to pay for a review. I was like, well, evidently you're going to have to, because if you're going to get bent out of shape, because I gave you 3 stars.
3 stars isn't bad.
No, it's not bad at all. It's for him, it was bad because it wasn't 5 like I gave Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie.
Well, he's not.
Should have told him to write.
Oh wow.
Not many people can be.
Now keep in mind, this is the same dude. 1 year later, okay, after we have this falling out. So what I did was, it is the only video on my channel that does not have the way you can't make a comment. I shut down the comment section.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Wow.
You can't even see the whack people he made up. That was him, okay? You can't even see that. So I said, look, I said, he wanted me to take the video down completely. I said, no, you sent me the book. I read it. It was like 400 freaking pages. It was, the text, it looked like a PDF. It looked like a book. It looked like a PDF. Okay, fine. That video is going to stay there.
Now let's go look for that video.
That video is going to stay there, okay? And it's still there, and it still has no comment section.
No.
1 year later, the dude writes me, and he's trying to sell me phone covers, mugs, and T-shirts with the name of the book on it.
Are you serious?
What the hell?
Girl. So yeah,
that's a good scenario though. You should write a book about this.
The authors can be crazy. Well, let's just say the independent authors. After that, I never wanted to take another independent author. No, okay. There was another chick who did something weird. There was this one girl. She sent me her book. I tried to read her book 3 times, and I couldn't get into it. So her publicist, I contacted her publicist and said, look, Ms. whatever her name was, I'm really sorry, but I can't get into this book. It's just not happening. So I said, how about I send it to another content creator and, that I think would enjoy it more than me. She said, okay, fine, no problem. Just tell me who the content creator is. And, I said, don't worry, I'll send them the stuff and everything. Sent it away. 1 week later, I'm on Instagram. The author starts with a video and she starts saying, she starts using Yajasi. She says, everybody's just raving over homegoing and Yajasi. I know she's worked really hard, but so have I. Why does nobody like my book? And then she put at, and then she put my name. She put at, and she put well-read black girl, and then she put at, and she put Denise D. Cooper. Oh Lord! I was like, really? So okay, I just ignored it. I said, okay, she going through it today. It's a bad day.
Some people should learn to stay off Twitter.
3 days later, she puts the same video back up.
What?
Why me? Why does no one want to read my book? What's wrong with me? Why can't I get all
the people are seeing this? Come on. That's not helping your case.
That's a damn thing.
Girl, look, independent author, I'm out. Okay? I'm out.
What about writing something we're interested in, something that people want to read? That's the first thing.
Right.
Or read it or love it. Find you somebody who loves your genre or love your storytelling.
But the thing is, I think when you put something out there in the world as an artist, no matter what kind of artwork you're doing, whether it's painting, writing, music, whatever it is, you put your work out into the world knowing full well that some people are going to love it and some people are going to hate it.
Right.
Maybe she wanted you in particular to love her work.
Oh, well, shit. She obviously hasn't been watching me that long. I don't like it, okay? I don't like it, and that's just it. But yeah, you can't be so touchy. If I feel like if you're that touchy, you don't need to be putting anything out there.
Yeah, at least she didn't hunt you down.
Because that's part of the job, Like if you're going to be putting your music out there, well, you stand behind your music. This is my shit. I like it. You know, I think it's good for whatever reason, but you can't be getting all, you know, oh, they don't like my stuff. I want everyone to like my. Everyone isn't going to like your stuff.
Not everybody is going to, no matter what.
You know, so I think that seems to be the trope with the independent writer sometimes, is this thing about, you know, people not liking their stuff. So I'm like not wanting to read any independent writers anytime soon because it's scary. It's like you have to defend the fact that. So when Michael Reed writes stuff, I'm not surprised. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if some of these people pay people to write reviews on Goodreads. Well,
I believe that.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised for Amazon either, because if you read some of the reviews people write, like, sometimes you wonder if they actually read the book, because you're like, clearly these people did not read this book.
They didn't read the book.
Because they were saying that, I mean, even if they liked it, they'll say things like they like the book, but clearly they have not read the book.
Right. It's generic.
But also, I feel like it's such a shame because I know, you know, because I'm in this industry, I know a lot of writers who, you know, are not getting published by mainstream publishers or any publisher at all because, again, they're not writing things that are popular or things, you know, books that will sell. So it's such a shame, I think, because it'd be nice to actually promote their books. I mean, obviously, we want to be truthful in our reviews, and we want to avoid people who are gonna stalk us or anything. So how do we like maintain that balance of like support the independent writer, but also not fall trap to the stalking and the need to have, you know, to like the book?
Well, ultimately, like, too, the thing is that not everybody's gonna, again, like Didi said, not everybody's gonna like everything. You know what I mean? You can pick 10 people who read the same book and have 10 different opinions. Yeah. But I think it's not a matter of not supporting independent writers, but finding ones that either cover something that you're interested in. You know what I mean? Like you said, sometimes it's not popular, but there are some people that do read those topics. But I don't know about how to resolve getting them more exposure, you know? I mean, I think having BookTube and Instagram and Twitter and things like that are helpful, you know, because they're already out there. But like I was saying, I wonder how many people really know, you know, I mean, that these forums exist, you know, in that way, you know, so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
in my context, sorry, I was just going to say, in my context, the idea of a booktuber is still very, very much new and rare. But I think people are actually open to it. I've asked like several authors to be on my channel, and they were like, "What is that? And why are you doing that? Where do you get the time to do that?" But once I describe, you know, the idea and what we're doing, people are very keen. So I guess on my side, I'm also trying to create awareness around, you know, around BookTube, around Black BookTube.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I feel like even though BookTube has gotten bigger, it's still in its bubble, and like not a whole lot of people outside of like so many people think BookTube is the end all be all, and I'm just like that's not the world. A lot of people still go to bookstores and that's how they find their books, and a lot of independent authors are not in those stores.
Exactly.
True.
Yeah, because
each day we're just still discovering new, for me anyways, other Black booktubers. So there's not like one source. Like Didi is a great source. Like I found so many people through Didi, but there's not one place that, say you're a Black author, that you can say, okay, this is where I'm going to go, and I can connect with all these booktubers. And, you know, and try to either talk to them about my book or connect to be able to, there needs to be something more like that would make it easier, you know what I mean?
Well, ideally what we would need to do is start something like a book riot, but Black book riot.
I thought that the other day, I said, that's a you need to set it up.
Black book riot.
Didi, you have all of the ideas apparently.
Well, you know, even before Book Riot, before I really knew what Book Riot even was, I had thought about that. I said, you know, that would be fabulous to have something like that, like a good network source where you have lots of different age groups and backgrounds in different countries in the world, where we could, you know, we didn't have to live in the same place, but yet we would still have a way of voicing, you know, opinions on books by Black authors from all over the world.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be something.
I know, for example, Linda,
yes.
years ago, she was talking about Zixmda, and I know I have books by Zixmda. I haven't read one yet, but I keep collecting his books, and I felt like the booktubers, the Black booktubers I follow, always talk about African American writers. And when I'm looking for African writers or Caribbean writers, I don't turn to Booktube because I feel like in those areas, we lack. But if there were more people reading from those authors, maybe if we had a platform where, you know, we knew that from this country we could have one person or different person to talk about what they do, who the writers are, etc. That would be quite interesting.
That would be wonderful.
Like for African American, I'm not criticizing. I love reading African American writers, but at times, you know, I just want to go back to the, you know, the Caribbean to dream about, you know, a brother and the son with a body that nothing to do with the book. Why not? You know, it will be interesting.
Yeah, completely.
I mean, that's, you know, that's why, which is a shame. It's, you know, it's the whole Black History Month thing. So I wait for Read So Lit, you know, each year, because I know that poor Dee Dee has to do all the work, but she always comes up with something great. And I remember that, I think that was 2 years ago, maybe, that you had, you know, it was a schedule. And then you would go to these different booktubers channel and they would do a video, and they were all different. Like you had poetry, you know, different genres. But we need to do that all year round. And like you said, something like you said, like a Book Riot, but with more Afrocentric and Caribbean, you know, like themed, you know. So I think that we don't have to wait the whole year to connect.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, you know, this is the reason why last July, you know, I decided to do a read along in the middle of summer. You know, I said, okay, let's do one in July. So we did Sag Harbor. But I think, I mean, the idea of organizing something like that, we all have to really be on board with it.
Yeah, sure.
And we have to find a way to find the right platform that would be agreeable, where everybody would be able to put their information on that platform and other people would have access to it, you know, whenever it's up.
Right.
So it'd have to either be on a blog or a YouTube channel, you know, and even a YouTube channel isn't that convenient, you know, for the reasons we said in the beginning. You got to get the lights up, you got to get the camera rolling, you got to get the background
and the upload time forever.
Girl, the struggle, okay? And then God help you if you're doing the video and the damn camera shuts off. Then you got to start all over again, you know? So it has to be a platform that, you know, everybody could access.
You know, like Book Riot they have podcasts too. I don't know if that's harder. It's not visual, but I like listening to podcasts, so I can listen, you know, to hear things like that too. And then you can bring guest authors on, or then you can do, you know, other things. And I think it would be a lot faster than YouTube, even though it's always fun to see people.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like something to think about, you know, for the future. But that still doesn't stop us from, which we talked about a little bit last week, doesn't stop us from doing punctual, you know, collaborating, you know, deals, you know. So if you want to collaborate 2 of us or 3 of us, or collaborate even 20 of us, you know, say, okay, you know, next month it's going to be impromptu. We all going to, you know, do our videos, and it's going to be on certain subjects or, you know, whatever the theme is. We get together and we coordinate, and, you know, the schedule is out. So we all have the schedule, and we all announce the schedule on our channels. and we do the videos and put them up accordingly. That's another way of collaborating. But collaborating is great when we can collaborate in big numbers. I think it makes more of an impact.
Right. Right.
Because let's face it, it's just like Tatiana just said, Black BookTube is a bubble inside a bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, clearly, you know, we're being watched probably by more Black people than we are being watched by white people. And knowing that, no matter what we're reading,
right?
Knowing that, then we need to make the splashes. You know, the more frequently we can, we should do it.
Right.
You know, not just during February, but you know, in the middle of summer or
all year, right?
In winter or whenever. You know, we should be trying to put the spotlight on our community even more than it already is.
We just have to do it. We have to do it, you know. And I think I like the ideas too. I think that, you know, of trying to figure out how to, like, you know, a whole year schedule, but, you know, inclusive. So like we said, we could do, you know, maybe this month we're going to do all Caribbean reads, you know what I mean? And focus on the different regions. And then people can pick what they want to contribute. So if I have a book that I read that would fit in that, okay, on this month, I'm going to make sure I make a video, and then we can kind of, you know, the chain, you know, promotion of each other's channels. This is what's going to be happening this month. If you want to check out all these different, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of doing it.
I know.
Organizing a little bit and doing it, but I think that's like something, that has to be explored. That's one way of us flexing our muscles a bit in the community. In a community that is pretty overbearing on us, considering all of the Black booktubers that are out there, you know, taking the time to do videos and, you know, create things. And how we are still the minority. I mean, the minority, because BookTube is a minority on YouTube.
Yeah.
But Black BookTube is definitely minority within this minority of community.
I think so. Yeah, because a lot of people don't know what it is. If you talk outside of the group, people are like, what is that? What are you talking about? You know?
Yeah, it's so I think we have nothing to lose, only something to gain, and it also helps the people out there that watch us become more informed about what there is to read, you know, because if they go to the bigger booktubers, the stuff that they're looking for, they're not going to find it.
Right. Or if you go online and you search, like if I wanted to find, you know, some new releases by Black authors, it's just hard to find. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing like I did when I first started coming on YouTube. It's like, I try to use different keywords to kind of come up with, but it's not that way from most mainstream. You can find all the top authors, but there's all these other authors that we can't get access to because we don't know who they are or where to find that information.
But you see, that's why Troi's video was so great. The double video that Troi did on the Black women writers who write crime novels was the bomb, because that introduced me to a lot of names I'd never heard of before.
Yeah.
And a lot of people watched the video because they didn't know a lot of people. So
for me, it was like when he made that video, I already knew about this Belinda Wesley. I knew her already, but I didn't know that she was doing mysteries as well. So watching this video, I discovered another facet of her. You know, I had 2 books by that author, but I didn't know that she was doing mysteries. So this video, I think, was, as we will say in French, le pain béni. I won't translate that because I can find it in English. But it was really the thing, and I wish we could do it. Yeah, it was really, really, really good. And every time somebody asks me for mystery, I always recommend that video because, you know, when somebody loves something, they put their soul and heart in it, and you have pleasure.
Yeah.
Them. because you know they know exactly what they're talking about, so they become interesting. So if each of us could do that, like, oh, I know the kind of book that I love, as I was saying before, if I want to find a sci-fi book, I will automatically go to either or a Tatiana, Pijama, telling me exactly what to read, and I would trust it. I love that. We could do that also when you have a genre, when you know you're good at it or you love those books. You make a video out there and we share and we talk about it. That would be good too.
Right. Yeah, I like that. Yep, definitely.
Absolutely. Because you have to admit that if the Black author comes out now and they're published by a fairly big name publishing company, we're all going to hear about them, pretty much. We're going to hear about them either on Bookstagram or on YouTube or somewhere else. We're going to hear about them. But for the people that fall in the backlist category, and I don't mean backlist back in the day or something. I'm talking like backlist, like 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's those authors that usually fall by the wayside, that they don't get the they don't get the publicity that they should get because they've been forgotten so quickly.
Right.
The publicity they had when they were published probably wasn't that big. And now that it's 10, 15, 20 years later, they have surely been forgotten, So it would be a good exercise to try to find some of those backlist authors that, could be just as interesting, but we just don't know their names yet.
A lot of times the way that I find those type of authors, though, is when those are the ones that I usually show on my channel I go to the thrift shop, and that's where people have so I'm just looking through. I'm not looking for anybody specific because you can't really. And that's where I find, people that they could be, somebody that has published in the 80s, 90s, and even prior to that. And then I usually will I did one on the mystery writers the other day too. I will also talk about their backlist because you can go right in the book and see what other books that they've written. And, they didn't have these platforms when they did these books, so they definitely didn't get the publicity that they could get now. So it's kind of important, but most of the time when I find them, if I don't hear them, like I'll go on Troi's channel, but if I don't hear them on other channels, I usually find out stuff on from thrift shops, because that's where the old books are, old cheap books.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel lucky with the thrift stores because in Paris, we don't have those prices with the book. Books are really expensive in Paris. Like, no, I don't know why, but when I go to the United States, that's the only thing I shop for, books. People think that I'm crazy, but that's what I do. I go to your thrift stores, Dollar Bill, or Dollar Trees, and stuff like that. I pack my books, come back to Paris, because here, the books that I want to read are always, like, even when they're used, they're still priced as if they're brand new.
They can be, yeah. Unless it's a livre de poche.
Yeah, but no. I love I love hardback.
I want to livre de poche. Yeah. So that's something to think about, kind of goes a little bit farther than what we talked about last week, but it's something to really think about, I think, is, ways of trying to get to that Black book riot,
Yeah, I think so. Because, I'll listen to some of their podcasts and things like that. And there are some books on there, but very few, it's like we don't exist. Very few minority authors books are advertised on there. And so it would be really nice. Imagine having the same scenario and just having a plethora. It's not like the authors in these books don't exist. It's just they're not getting the recognition, until the hashtag diverse reads comes about, and then you hear a couple,
Start a collab to begin with. Launch that into Well, somebody mentioned Kickstarter, be like, that'd make a good kicking off for Black Book Riot.
I know.
You got to come up with a better name because Black Book Riot ain't gonna work. Sorry.
That's right. We gotta have our own name.
Okay, that ain't gonna work.
Well, a different name, obviously.
Marie, Black Book Tuber list on Twitter.
I know. See, if people putting any questions, I'm
not. I said Christina Marie pinned a Black Booktuber list on her Twitter. Yeah. Okay. I've been using.
Musical said if you search Black Booktubers, they should come up. So you could do that. You could say Black Booktubers in YouTube, and they'll come up. No.
Yeah, I do that. I try to do that every now and then, but I did the last time I did
a video to say that.
Yeah, but the last time I put in Black Booktubers, Rincey came up first.
Who came up first? Sorry, I missed that.
First, I didn't hear that.
Came up first. When I put Black Booktube, I said I'm done. Okay.
Really? So what would you have to do? You'd have to put that in your tag, right?
That's why they say on YouTube, especially now that it's starting to expand in our little bubble, that you have to put the tags with your video. When you're waiting for your video.
I put like book, but I never put Black Booktuber.
No, put Black Booktuber. Put all kinds of shit in there because I never
thought of that.
I put in there Black Booktuber, Booktube Black, Black people, blacks and books and Black people. I put everything in there.
Oh, you can African booktubers. That's how I found most of it.
Go back to my videos and put it in.
Yeah, well, look what happened last time. I put in Black Booktubers and Rincey Reads came up first. So I was like,
wow.
Okay.
I did not.
I was like,
it's you, BD. I could have thought it would have been you. Wow.
Oh Lord. But yeah. Anyways. Yeah, so that that's like something to think about.
Yeah, that's something to definitely think about. Something to look at if we did it, roll things out on a smaller scale, just for the rest of the year. Like ideas for monthly themes or something like that. And then anybody that wants to kind of get on board and can read faster than me can sign up for these different categories and make videos. And then we just cross promote each other to make sure that other people will find them.
Absolutely. That's the only way it's going to work. Because let's face it, the other side of BookTube, they definitely cross-referencing and,
all the time.
They only tag their friends.
They tag. I know I have 2 tags. I'm so excited. Dee Dee tagged me, but I haven't made the videos yet.
They only tag their friends. So,
I haven't seen the video though. I tagged you, Linda, for the hashtag Read So Late. I'm waiting for your video. Seriously.
And
my video.
Big thank you to everybody that has done the hashtag Read So Late.
Oh God.
Thank you. They've been all freaking fantastic, except for one. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. And I have no tea to sip. No,
I'm gonna do mine. I am. Every time I see another one come out, I go, "Oh, I didn't do it yet."
All you have to do is
answer the questions. I know.
Put in the search thing hashtag Read So Lit tag, and you'll figure out which one I was like side eyeing. Okay.
Oh boy.
All right. Anyway, Tati's laughing because she knows exactly who it is. Oh no, you gotta go look for that yourselves. I ain't saying nothing other than that. Okay. All right. Yes, I can tell you how I really feel, Juju Bees. Okay. I love your name, Juju Bee.
I do too.
Let's see. Black God, somebody said it's like, I like that. Black Pages.
That's nice.
I like that.
Black Pages. I like that too.
What does that mean?
What does what mean?
Black pages.
Well, instead of Book Riot,
as a
name for the
as
group.
a name. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Dee Dee, did you see the question from I found this great book?
No, what was the question?
I'd like to create a directory of Black book reviews on my website. If I did that, do you think people would be open to being included?
I mean, I guess, why not?
I think so.
I think it's a great idea. Why not? I know people, I know there have been people that have used some of my reviews on their websites and stuff for, different things. But, they were, they nice, and they asked before they uploaded my video to their site. But I don't think people would mind. I just think you just have to ask them, let them know that that's what you're doing. But other than that, I don't think it's essentially would be a problem. You just have to ask.
Oh, and Onyx Pages says, I love Black Book Planet as another name.
Yeah, that's
it always has
like Black Book Planet.
Yeah, I'm perfectly them is there in the planet.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so yeah, people are coming up with some great ideas. Let's start talking about some books. So what are you guys reading at the moment?
I am still reading 40 Acres while I'm listening to it. I have like 5 hours left on this thing.
And so are you liking it?
Yeah, well, yes, I am. I'm liking it. I haven't read past what I told you when I messaged you and Alan about it. But I meant to do that today, but I'm gonna turn off my computer later and just marathon it. So I can be more immersed.
It would make the best movie.
It's so fast paced. Everything just keeps happening. Like I stopped at a point and because I was listening to it while I'm driving, and I'm just like, I need to know more.
I could not listen to that while I was driving.
At one point I was like, I got too into the book because I was too mad or stuff. I was just way too into that book at one point, and I had to stop and listen to music.
I'd be like off the freaking road trying to listen to 40 Acres while driving.
I started talking to myself about the book. I was like, what? Oh, no.
Yeah, okay. So 40 Acres. Go ahead.
Yeah. But I reread some childhood books today, so I could talk about them or recommend them. The first one was Aunt Flossie's Hat and Crab Cakes by Elizabeth Fitzgerald Howard. You guys can see that?
Hold it still.
Oh yeah, that some DK shows. Yeah, that title is familiar.
Wait, show it again one more time.
Yeah, show it.
Lower and slow.
Say something.
Say something because you're not coming.
This one is about. Am I coming through now? Okay, this one is about these girls and they go to their Aunt Flossie's, and she has all these hats, and each hat has a story about some point in history that she was a part of, and I felt like that was very interesting, like a good kickoff for kids to kind of learn about some Black history back in the day, and also it was a good heartwarming story for the family and visiting relatives. So she talked about being in when Boston was burning down or something, because one of her hats, she's like, I can still smell the smoke a little bit, and it was just okay. And then I read Uncle Jed's Barbershop by Margaret Queen Mitchell. Not sure if anyone's read this either. I've had these books for a very, very long time.
I like the illustration.
Cool. Yeah, they have some really good illustrations in here. Let me just turn to a page. It looks like this, and this one is about this girl and her uncle who always wanted to own a barber shop, and he didn't get it until he was 71, which is not a spoiler. It was on there. That kind of talks about the journey and how it took him to get there and what troubles he went through, and they kind of touched upon segregation just a little bit in this book. but it's a kid's book, and it's like really kind of still a little bit informative for the kid to probably start asking questions. So I really thought it was a good touch of that one. And then the last one I have is a poetry book. And this one is by Walter D. Myers, Brown Angel. So maybe more people know this one. And I've had this since I was a kid too. And this one was like he found like hundreds of photos of like Black kids and stuff, and he made poetry to like the photos. And
oh wow!
So yeah, amazing. I really always love this.
Oh.
Yeah, that looks nice.
That looks good too.
So like if you have kids, grandkids.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, those are good.
All right, you want me to go next? I did. Well, before we started, we were talking before we got started. I just started reading this one, American Spy by Lauren Wilkinson. And I was telling Dee and everybody that, I was reading the Read So Lit readathon one because I'm trying to keep up with the schedule. But this author is coming, I think, March 4th. And so I'm racing, and I'm not that far in yet, but I'm racing to see if I can finish it before the author comes to read it. But what I was saying, I'm only in about 30 pages so far. What I found interesting in the story, it's a fiction, and we weren't sure if this was a YA or not. I don't think it is, but she sprinkles aspects of history within the story of the character. And I thought it was really interesting because every time I would come across a name, like she talks about different people in the Black Panther movement. And she talks about the CIA and the FBI and how, they infiltrated the organization and the movement. And so, like some of the people I've never heard of. So it's kind of one of those ones that's kind of piquing my interest to go and learn a little bit more about that as well. But so far it's really good. And then I did start another book, but again, I can't read too many at the same time because I want to finish the one for Read So Lit. I started this one, which is the new one. This is another new one. This is new. They're all new because I'm usually reading old stuff. But this is Black Enough, Stories of Being Young and Black in America, and it's edited by Ibi Zoboi. Is that how you say name? I've read I think 2. The first essay I really liked. The second one wasn't as keen on. But I'm gonna keep with it. But I've never read prior to this, except for one of the books that I want to recommend is my recommended book, like a collection of essays, which I actually starting to notice that I do enjoy because I can sit and read one and then think about it and then read another one or read multiple at the same time. This one I think is good, but the one that I want to recommend is my recommend book, which everybody knows probably already, but so what? It's The Fire This Time. This one is my favorite, and I've never reread a book, but this one I would, just because I think all of the stories have different meaning at different times. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can see it. But the collection of essays in here, I liked all of them. Like I was saying with this other book that I'm reading now, I've already run into a couple of them, like, but I'm still going to keep going through and reading the rest of them. But this one, I just feel like it touched on so many issues here in the United States, and also issues of, I think one of the persons was speaking, I think they were in Jamaica. But I like to see the different, the similarities, even though they're in other countries, of race relations and what people are witnessing or experiencing, and how they're similar to what we experience here in the United States. So this one is my definite number 1 to recommend, or number 2 maybe. And my other one I wanted to recommend is Just Mercy by
a lot of
this. I read this like 2 years ago and still love it. I didn't know anything really. I've never read anything about the criminal justice system. I saw him speaking on Super Soul Sunday with Oprah. And when I saw him talk, I said I had to get the book, and I got the book. And then I listened to him. I listened to the audio, and I liked it that much that I went and bought the actual book so that I could actually go through and kind of mark. But what he's done is, you know, he shifts your perspective, you know, when you read it about what it is maybe to be convicted of a crime and how you perceive people. And I kind of never, I don't have any family members or know anybody. I never visited anybody in prison. So I just go by what I read or see or TV or whatever. But he kind of humanizes the situation and talks about the injustices in our system as it is right now. And he talks about specific cases where he, you know, has gone in where people were wrongfully accused and have been in prison for 20 plus years. And he started an organization called the Equal Justice Initiative, that actually they go and they try to solve these cases and get people free that should never have been in jail in the first place. Definitely hard parts in there that make you really sad. But he just humanizes it, and he says, you know, people shouldn't just lock people up and throw away the key, that we need to really look at what we're doing with people. And you know, he runs a lot of huge statistics in the beginning that are just jaw-dropping about the amount of people that are incarcerated in the United States versus any other country in the world. We have the highest. And what is it really doing? You know, questioning, is it reforming people and things like that. So this one is phenomenal. It doesn't, I may not be delivering it well, but it's so good. I would recommend even listening to the audio. He does the audio and then reading the book or reading it along with it. I've done that as well too with other books, but the audio is really great because he does narrate it really well. And then my last book that I wanted to recommend is another one everybody might know about, but it's still a good one.
Oh yeah, that's
LindaReads. I haven't yet, but I do Black History movies with my sons, and I got the movie version. I think it's Oprah has done the movie of this, so I'm gonna watch that with him this month. But the book is really good because it shows a lot of things. You know, it talks about the injustices in terms of, you know, the medical community utilizing and using the Black community for testing, and taking her cells without her knowing and using it and creating this, you know, multi-billion-dollar industry. And the sad thing is, you know, she ended up dying from an illness, but her family never received any money to this date, and they live still in poverty. So it's a really good story, a good book, and we're all affected because her cells are still alive today, and they still use them for many things in medicine now. So this one is like just a must read. Everybody should read it. But I'm going to check out the movie with my kids, and hopefully it's never as good as the book, but if it covers some of the topics, they'll be happy with it. So those are my recommended reads for today.
Okay, how about you, Troy? You got some recommendations?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get my pen.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I actually talked about Black Summer, but Black Fortune also.
Oh, I've heard of this one.
Yeah, this is really good. I just think it's like an introductory read for the 6 Black millionaire setup or whatever. But this is I want to follow it up with reading of the original Black Elite. The really thick book that I hope that I can get to before the end of the year.
Hold it slower.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
Hold it slower.
Oh.
Talking.
Don't move it. And turn it a little bit.
And talking.
Okay.
Yeah, keep talking while you hold it.
Talk while you hold it. We can actually see you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is the book that I want to the original Black Elite.
Oh, the original Black Elite. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, I'm new. But the thing is actually this right here.
What's that one? Is that Ida B. Wells?
Ida B. Wells.
Ida B. Wells, A Woman of Courage. This is I actually read 3 books in a row, so this is my little in between here. That's what I'm currently.
Who was that one by, Troy? Is it?
A. Ross.
Oh, Ruth A. Ross.
Okay.
And I hate to get this short, but I actually have to go, guys. I really did enjoy myself, but I got to book in.
Oh, you have to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to. I'm sorry. My cousin, she's taking me out.
It was nice
I
chatting
wish
to
it was
you.
like that. I'm sorry, y'all.
That's how we're going.
Thank you, DD and everybody.
It's good to talk to you.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Too.
Bye.
Yeah, now that I know what I'm doing now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Troi.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, let's see. I did well.
Okay, can I go next?
Yeah, go ahead, Linda.
Yeah. So the book that I have is, I think it's not a recommendation because I'm sure everybody has come across Octavia Butler, and this one is Parable of the Talents. But when Dee Dee told me that we were doing this video, I really just wanted to make mention of this book because it speaks to like why these kind of things are important and why having Black booktube is important. So I've been trying to write, or I am writing a novel which is also speculative fiction, and at the time I don't know if it was ignorance or it was just like the community that I'm in. I didn't know any other authors who were writing this thing that I was also trying to write. So it was so powerful for me to come across Octavia and her work. And I don't know, like, I mean, I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir here, but for me, representation has, really, really matters. And because I came across her work, I felt validated and I felt like, yeah, I can do this, And I know right now there are a lot more authors who are, who are writing these kind of books. But when I first came across Octavia, it was like such an aha moment for me. So I just thought I would mention that and mention that story. And for me, I mean, I'm an African. I live in South Africa. So, and as much as we are pushing African American authors, I thought I would cheat a little bit and give like South African book recommendations, if that's okay.
Fine.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I got my pen and paper ready.
Ready.
Okay, great. So the first book is this one. I'm sure Didi, you already saw this.
Hold it higher.
Higher.
Hold it higher still. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, it's called Sorry Not Sorry.
Okay.
Experiences of a Brown Woman in a White South Africa.
Ooh.
And so Haji is a South African writer, and I think it's so important to read this book because it gives you context into, what the situation in South Africa is like. There is still a lot of racism. There is still a lot of discrimination. And so this is a memoir, and she speaks about her life as a brown person writing in a very white South African, a very white media. So she talks about all kinds of things. She talks about religion. She talks about sexual identity. She talks about clothing, cultural appropriation. Like, she talks about everything. And I think if you're trying to get just like insight and perspective into what a South African writer might be going through at the moment in this day and age, this book is really, really great. Okay. And she's absolutely hilarious. So it makes it for, even though like what she's talking about is like quite hard to digest, because she's so funny, it makes it easier to digest. And the other book I don't have with me, but it's called Always Another Country.
Always Another Country?
By Sisonke Msimang. Another Country. Yeah, and Always Another Country is another memoir. And there's like this amazing trend that's happening in South Africa at the moment where a lot of people, like, a lot of like ordinary people, if you will, people who are not like massively influential or politicians or those kind of people, like ordinary people with everyday stories to tell. They write a memoir, and it's such a great trend because it's giving like true insight into what is happening in the country. So Always Another Country, Sisonke Nsimang talks about her life living in growing up in exile, and the South Africa we were fighting for back then. You have it, yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one.
Wait, let me see it. Hold it up again.
Here it is, right here.
Oh.
It's a beautiful cover.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a stunning cover. I didn't want to ask her to spell it. It's enough. Yeah, but you're into pre-apartheid. I mean, during apartheid, what was happening, and post-apartheid, like the South Africa we were fighting for, and actually the South Africa that we got is very different for what we thought we would get. Yeah, so those are just like, yeah, those are as a South African booktuber.
Those are great.
I mean, I could go on, but we'll stop here.
Oh, you better. You better make some videos and go on and on.
We'll do.
Never mind holding all that information to yourself. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
Sure.
Okay.
Sorry, Not Sorry. The author is, who's the author?
The author, I'll hold it up. It's
hold it up high.
Haji. Hey, can you see that?
No. Yes, but keeps talking while you say it.
Yes, so that's Haji Muhammad Daji. Daji. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
As long as she can see it. Oh, see, I see it when she stops talking, but it's in the small screen.
You can click on her. That way you can just see just her for a while.
Oh, should I continue speaking so you can see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Haji Muhammad Daji. I might be saying that wrong, but it's Haji. That's her first name, and Muhammad is her middle name. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, those are great.
Yes.
Musical Tati wrote it in the comments.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you.
Let's see, that's
DHAI. Okay. DHAI.
Okay, who's next? Alicia.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah.
All right. So Didi, I was watching your book review that you posted the other day, and you were talking about the male voice not being used to it.
Yeah, and we cast a shadow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was thinking, well, I'll talk about some male authors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, this one, trying to make sure, it's from James McBride.
Yeah, McBride is good.
Kill 'Em and Leave, and it's a.
Oh, I heard about this one.
Yeah, it's a nonfiction about James Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And not only does it take you through James Brown's life, but it's also like American history as well as musical history going along. And he does a great job capturing James Brown's voice, in words. And I just thought this was, and I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. The only person I remember reviewing it is Storyscape.
Yeah, Storyscape reviewed it.
Mm-hmm. Did a review on our book on our blog, I think, about this book? Did he?
I'm sorry.
You wrote a review on that book?
No, I didn't.
Where did I?
Storyscape.
I heard of it on NPR. That was the first time I heard about it. The author was on and they did it.
The only person
it sounds good.
Review.
I saw her review. I thought you did that too.
No, I didn't read that one yet.
So I thought James McBride would be a great one because I didn't realize I had read just about the majority of his catalog, and he's one that can do nonfiction as well as fiction.
Okay.
And his most recent release was a short story collection called 5-Carat Soul or something like that. Anyway, it's about a little group. All of the stories are sort of intertwined, but it's a short story collection.
Okay.
And then I was thinking about another author, Michael Eric Dyson.
Oh yeah.
I love him. I love him.
Dyson.
He is so good.
I mean, I think he can write about anything that is like pop culture, racial, race relations, all that. And that's another male voice that people need to listen to.
Yeah, but that's different. That's a male voice. You got to be crazy not to like Michael. Come on.
And it's like whenever you're in a heated argument, I wish I could just spew off something from him because he says it just so right. Behind it. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good one.
Those two, I think those are two male authors that everybody probably could get on and
we could get along with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I'm not sure if musical Tati talked about this one. This is a lady. This is one of my favorite books. And
Tied That
Bind by Brenda Jackson. And she is so prolific. She's a romance writer.
Yep.
And she has so many books in print. One year, I think she put out like 9 books.
What?
Yeah, she has, I think it's 13 million books in print or something like that.
Wow.
It's a ridiculous amount. But nobody on Booktube talks about it. At one point, I did have this book in my profile picture because it's one of my favorites. And so I just thought bringing attention to her. And she's.
So is this romance? Is this romance?
Yes, she's a romance writer. She has a deal with Harlequin, I think.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So those are my recommendations.
Those are great.
Tatiana just said, I didn't mention that book because I knew you would. All right. Okay. My 2 suggestions are these. These are 2 that I'm reading at the moment. I'm reading Eva's Man.
Oh, those are amazing.
Lord, Eva's Man is literally ripping my edges out. Okay. I mean.
Hold it up again. What is it? Let me see the cover.
Gail Jones. Oh, this is an ugly ass cover though.
Oh God. Yeah, it is.
I mean, there's got to be a cover better than this one. I don't know where it is. So. This young.
I can make that cover, right?
Yeah, Eva's Man. Okay, all this. All right.
Yeah.
But that's also because, keep in mind, Gail Jones, a lot of her books have not been republished. I think Cora Jadora was republished because that one has a nicer cover. But this one, for some reason, I've only seen it in this edition.
I'm looking for my version. I think my cover is different, but I can't seem to find it.
This one was published in 1976. Eva's Man. It's a short one, but it's blowing my mind.
What is it about, Dee?
I can't tell you that. If I tell you that, then
all right, don't tell me. I will go look.
Yeah, I can't tell you that. I can just tell you though that if you follow me on Instagram, you must have gotten one of the pages that I had read in here.
All right.
I was blown away. It was like in the beginning of the book. I was like, girl, Gail Jones, I don't know what she's smoking, but it's just powerful stuff. Some powerful stuff there, Eva's Man. And then the next one is the Post-Racial Negro Green book, which is this one.
What's that?
Okay, now this is a book that is, it goes state by state, and it kind of like gives you racial incidents that have happened in each state, resulting in a Black person either being, either killed or had some kind of really bad altercation. And the thing that is the most surprising about it is the blatant racism involving the police. A lot of it has, you know, incidents that have happened with police, happened with political figures, mayors, and things like that. And it goes state by state. And what is also good about it is that it gives you the percentage of the African Americans in that state. It also gives you the poverty rate between blacks and whites in the state,
oh God,
the unemployment between blacks and whites, the imprisonment ratio between blacks and whites. Okay.
Yeah.
It tells you if it has open carry permit, how many active hate groups are in that state, your stand your ground law, if they have it or not, and what the 2016 election result was. So if it was, you know, winners were Republican or Democrat in the state. And the thing that is really just horrible are when you look in some states, the number of hate groups, you would never believe the number in some of them. Like in Alabama, they have 21 hate groups.
Oh, I believe that.
Like 21. I was like,
you know, certain places you're not so surprised. You know, I think there's probably a lot of places too that you're more surprised.
You know, but I mean, places like Iowa only have 3. You know,
I live in Louisiana. How many do they have?
Hawaii has none. You know, you'll have like it's just a powerful book to read. It really shows us we have some serious freaking work to do.
What's the name of it again? What's the name?
This is called the Post-Racial Negro Green Book.
That's a long name.
All right. Now, they have also this one, which is the Negro Motorist Green Book, which is the original idea.
From the movie, right? Version. Yeah, that's what I was going to say when you were describing it. It reminds me of that movie. I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
Well, this one is just basically, it goes and it tells you state by state places, like restaurants you can go to as a Black person, hotels, and it's written like back in the day kind of thing. And what they did was they made this one after it to just deal with talking about some of the incidents that have happened in the States, you know, with Black people being killed.
Yeah.
And, you know, really like explaining to people some of the statistics and background on some states.
Yeah.
And in the back, it has a long list. You know, the hashtag say their names.
Yeah.
Well, they have say your names index in the back of this book.
Oh, God.
And it's, look how long it is. So I've been reading this one. It's been breaking my heart.
Yeah.
Literally breaking my heart. Sometimes it's really hard to read some of the things because it's a lot. And you think, I cannot believe that we can't do better.
No.
I just can't believe that we can't do better.
You know, you raised
Florida has
Go ahead.
Florida has 26 hate groups. Florida.
How many?
26 hate groups.
Oh, yeah.
26.
Yeah.
Why am I not surprised?
No.
Florida.
But you know,
so those are
right too, Dee, that, you know, and people always say too, like, you know, like Black History Month, I'll read a mixture of things, but some things are more somber like that. And people are like, well, why are you reading that? Or why are you reading stuff about slavery? Or, you know, and I always say it's not easy reading, but I feel like there's always more to gather from it. And it's important to read things like that, you know, like you wouldn't, like you said, you wouldn't know some of those statistics if you didn't come across it in that form. And it needs to be reminded. Everybody needs to be reminded.
Because the statistics, they say everything about what's wrong with the world in the States.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the States? The statistics are, you know, one of the main things that clue you into what's wrong. People can try to pretend like they don't want to see, or they don't know, or that's not like that, or whatever, but it is like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So those are the two that I'm reading at the moment, along with, of course, Unforgivable Love. But you know, these are much shorter. So if I'm lucky, I will be able to finish Eva's Man maybe tomorrow and this one on Monday. Yeah. While I'm reading Unforgivable Love at the same time. So that's pretty much what I'm going to suggest. I don't think I have anything else because we talked a lot about, I can also recommend, but I don't know, I think I might have recommended it already before, is, Rita Dove, Collected Poems. If you're looking for good poetry, Rita Dove.
Okay.
This one is great because it is a collected work. So you've got everything from 1974 to 2004. Her poems are really powerful, well written, and they're not difficult. I didn't feel like they're difficult to understand. They're just really, really well done. And this is a really good collection because it's done like in, I think it's like separated into quite a few parts.
What is that collection called?
It's called The Collected Poems. Read it up.
As a poet, I'm so happy that 2 of the recommendations so far are poetry collections.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's true. It's people. I mean, I'm not an expert on poems or anything like that. I just, when I read poetry, I know what I like and I know what I don't like, you know. And a lot of what I don't like because sometimes I'm not really sure what they're trying to say. Or it's not evoking to me. Rita Dove evokes a lot to me when I read her poems. Same with Gwendolyn Brooks. Love her poetry.
Oh boy, KT.
Same with Terrence Hayes. Don't get me started. Terrence Hayes. No, his poetry is bomb because you read those poems and they evoke they evoke so much in your senses, in your feeling, and they are also very flexible poems. So you have leeway to interpret differently. You know, like Linda, you may interpret it differently from me, but we're still getting something from it. And if we were reading it together, we could actually really discuss it. That's what I like about Terrence Hayes' poems. His poems are very, they're really organic and they grow and they, you know, I'm sure if I read his new one last year, but I think if I reread it this year, I'd probably get more out of it. You know,
right. There's a good question up there, Dee, that says, if you could sit with any author and discuss any book that they've written, who is the author and what is the book? It's a really good question.
That's a great question. That's a great question.
That's a loaded question.
I have to think about that one. Let me think. I'm gonna have to look at myself to think that. Isn't that funny?
There are a couple that I would like to discuss with you. I would love to speak with James Baldwin about Another Country.
Okay.
There are aspects of that book that I would love to hear his personal opinion on. Like, you know, what was he thinking and how did he get to that writing that way or whatever. And then just to sit there and hear him talk.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I have to think about that one. That's a good question. I have to remember what I read.
I think I would want to sit down with Gloria Naylor.
She's on my list to read this year. I am like the last person to read her.
I've only read one. I've only read The Women of Brewster Place, but it was years ago.
That's the one I'm going to start with.
I feel like I need to reread it though.
Yeah. Okay. Can I go with my recommendations?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Be patient, okay? Because I have a lot of books, but they're not from African American.
Uh-oh. Let me get my pen out then.
We're ready. Go slow.
Elizabeth Nunez. I don't know if you can see it. In the Limbo Silence by Elizabeth Nunez.
What is it called? Say it again one more time.
In the Limbo Silence.
Okay.
In the Limbo Silence.
Yeah, Elizabeth Nunez. It is set between Trinidad and the United States, and it takes place in the 60s, and it deals with, you know, the how to call that? Mouvement des droits. You know, the Martin Luther King thing, the same era when Black people in America were fighting for their rights. Right. And she went, the main character of the story, Sarah, she went to the United States to study, but then eventually she falls in love with an African-American man. They both are Black, but they don't have the same background because the American one is convinced that, you know, slavery was, okay, he was acting as if slavery was just an African-American matter, that coming from the island, you didn't witness slavery the way American people did. So there are teeny-weeny problem because of that. And the other thing is there are 3 women in there, 3 Caribbean women. There's one woman from Guyana who's really deep into her roots. She knows that she goes to the United States to acquire a certain knowledge and go back to her country and teach her people. So she doesn't lose sight of that. She doesn't try to fit in with the American culture. Doesn't want, you know, she doesn't envy African-American people. She goes there for the culture, that's it. And then you have Sarah. Sarah is kind of divided. She was born and raised in Trinidad, but being in love with an African-American, I think she wants to fit in also. And she's torn between keeping her traditions or simply following on the path of her boyfriend. And then you have the third one. She's Black also, she's dark-skinned, let's say, and she's of Indian origin. And she bragged about the fact that her ancestors weren't slaves, that they were endangered, that they choose, they choose to go settle in Trinidad. So she's like the house nigger. So I loved the way she painted all these 3 different Caribbean women and the way that they mingle, how they overcome their differences, how they come to realize that being Black is being Black, no matter where you're from. And even if you're from the island, you did deal, or your ancestors dealt with slavery as well. Right. But then I'm not going to say much more about that. You need to read it.
That sounds really good.
What's the author's name again?
Elizabeth Nunez. And I find out that Marlon James counted her as a favorite storyteller. And I was like, Marlon, you're my main for sure. Because, yeah, I love this woman. I have all of her books. She's a good. If you want to start, I will recommend this one first.
Oh, yeah.
So, Elizabeth Nunez, In the Limbo Silence. That was my first recommendation.
Is she Caribbean?
Yeah, she's African-American now, but she's from Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, so I can put it on my Caribbean.
Yeah, I put a list like that too.
The story is really, it starts in Trinidad. Say the name again. Elizabeth Nunez, In the Limbo Silence. Somebody's asking on the chat, but I can talk and read. I cannot do that. So, yeah. Okay. Mema by Daniel Mengara. I don't know if you can say it.
Mema.
M-A.
M-A.
Mema, which means mother, actually. As we say, mama. Mema. The author is from Gabon, and it tells the story of his mother. This woman, when she was married, couldn't conceive. So the other family members, our in-laws wanted her to have a rival, to have somebody for their son to have a hair and stuff. But she's a bold woman, and I admired her so much. In the beginning, she wakes up every morning with a machete by her side, and she's telling our in-laws that if somebody want to get in the house and sleep with what she considers to be her thing, her husband, she's gonna have to fight her first. But she eventually Yeah, and they know how crazy she is, so nobody dares, bring the second. Even if the mother-in-law finds a wife for a son, she knows damn well that this woman is so crazy that she might just, cut her rival using the match, but she will eventually get pregnant and have the babies, etc. What is very, very interesting is to see how our in-laws are going to be treating her after her motherhood. When she gets into motherhood and she raises the baby, and eventually her husband gets sick, etc., etc. I'm not going to say too much about it, but you need to read it. It's very, very interesting because it's a kind of homage from a son to his mother. The author is really writing about his real mother. It reminds me a bit of Trevor Noah's book, but this one was
yes.
Nobody talks about it. This woman is bold, y'all. She's bold.
Talking about this.
Okay, this one maybe.
Born a crime. Yeah.
Already. This woman.
What's this one? What's it say?
Bessie Head, and the book is
yes. I read that in school.
Yeah. Wasn't it good?
Amazing.
Bessie Head. The story set in Botswana. I will talk about Bessie Head more than I would do the book, because you see how short it is. And Bessie Head actually was a mixed race writer. Her mother was white and her father was black. But since the white woman gave birth to this mixed baby, she was sent into an asylum because she was said to be crazy. How could a sound white woman sleep with a black man? Come on. Nobody could do that. So she was sent into kind of adoption, personally, Bessie Head. And when she was an adult, people keep reminding her that she was born of a crazy woman. She got to be crazy herself. And she went to Botswana. She was married. Her marriage failed. She went to Botswana and eventually became a citizen of the country. And she was a queer woman, by the way. She was a queer woman, but she didn't she married another woman, but she never spoke about it when she was alive. She did it in one of her books, but you really have to pay attention to know that. But this book here deals with racial prejudice. The thing is, we always talk about white hating black people, etc. This one is black hating black, just based on the fact that they are physically different or they are from another tribe or something like that. So yes, the first chapter of this book was like, whew. But yeah, you gotta read it. Then again, you gotta read it. I really loved it, so I decided that I would recommend it to you.
And who's the author? Is the author
Bessie Head
is the author? Okay.
Bessie Head is the author, and the title of the book is Maru.
Maru.
Yeah. Bessie Head, Maru.
Okay. Ooh, good one.
Now I'm taking you to Ghana.
All right.
Okay.
I love it. I love this.
Yes,
I love it.
Yeah. Gabon.
Yeah.
Botswana, and now
Trinidad, and now Ghana.
And Ghana is Amadarko.
Amadarko.
Ama, A-M-M-A, D-A-R-K-O. K-O. Amadarko, the housemaid.
Oh, the housemaid.
Oh.
And once again, it's very, very, very short, but I warn you, give this book the time to get into you. Don't give up on before chapter 4, because that's exactly what I did. I first read it, and when I read
it, it's so small.
The thing is, from chapter 1 to chapter 4, I feel like there are too many voices. Not
okay.
Marlon James does it à la perfection. So, but if you don't know how to do that, how to manage many voices, it can be very disturbing for the reader. And in this book, in the first 4 chapters, I feel like there are too many voices, too many people talking. But once you reach chapter 4, you won't put this book down because you will be, curious to know what's happening exactly. Because in the beginning of the novel, what we found out is that a corpse is found, a baby is dead, and the baby's been there for the longest time. And there's also we see a little boy, two brothers. They went to to the beans. They took blood stained clothes and they washed them to offer those clothes to their mother. Little did they know that those clothes were the one that the woman who left the baby there was wearing. So they didn't even know that there was a baby dying somewhere, or a baby that was dead somewhere. So those boys are talking, the people in the market are talking, everybody's talking because they want to know who the baby belongs to and who threw the baby there. So from chapter 1 to chapter 4, that's what we go through. And then from chapter 4 to the end, the story begins. So when you start reading it, be patient.
I put a note down in my notes, so I'll remember.
And I also gotta warn you that there are some grammar mistakes in there. That really kind of pissed me off. Yeah, because when English is not your mother tongue, you always question everything. Am I not reading it right, or I have to rewrite the sentences all by myself? And I realized that it wasn't me; it was the writer, who didn't do a job properly, or maybe those who rewrite the book for her didn't pay attention. But I give it a try. It's a good read. It's a short read, good read, and I really recommend it.
The title was The House Girl?
The Housemaid.
Housemaid.
Amadarko.
Sorry.
Amadarko. Okay. Now, I'm going to Zambia.
I love it.
With Meanwhile, Siyangwe. I don't know if you're going to see the name.
Tip it forward more. No, the other way.
Oh, do I do that? How do I do that?
Like lean it like this. Lean it forward like that way more. That's not making it any better.
I talk at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. So the title of the book is A Cowrie of Hope.
A Cowrie of Hope.
A Cowrie of Hope. And the writer's name is Binwell, B-I-N. Can you see? B-I-N-W-L-L. And the family name is Sinyangwe, S-I-N-Y-A-N-G-W-E. Binwell Nyange.
Binwell, okay.
Cowrie of Hope. Okay, for all of you who do not love fairy tales, where you will think that this one is too predictable. I know Didi's gonna tell you when she will be done reading this book.
Fairy tale scratch.
No, but what I love about this book is the fact that it was written by a man. Actually, Binwell is a man, and it tells the story of a woman. So he uses a woman's voice to tell the story. And this woman is, as I said, I love bold women. I love women who stand for what they believe in. We know that in many African countries, the tradition is that if you're married to a man and the man passes away, you're supposed to marry his brother, the remaining brother, either the for real, like for real.
I've heard that.
Because if you do not accept to remarry in the family, you will be thrown out of the entire family with your children. Exactly. With your children. And she chooses that rather than marrying her husband's brother. This, I'm not going to tell you much more, but it also deals with the spreading of HIV/AIDS in Africa.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, boy. Heavy. Okay.
Well, that is one fairy tale, lady.
Yeah, where's the fairy tale?
Where's the fairy tale and all that mess?
Toward the end. It's happily ever after kind of book. But what is interesting is to see how she holds on to what she believes. She doesn't give up, even if things are tough, even if the situation is not easy, because economically speaking, she has to deal with many things.
Yeah.
Because she has to fight for her daughter. What she wants is for her daughter to acquire knowledge and to go to school, because she is an illiterate, they say, illiterate woman. She didn't go to school.
Yeah.
Yes, and she wants her child to have more choices than she did, because she married her husband for different reasons. So that's it. I'm not going to say too much.
Okay. And this is a male writing from a female perspective, you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. And interesting what he chose to write about, you know? Oh, I think that sounds good.
Yeah. That was Zambia. Okay. Namibia.
Oh, wow.
Have you read this one, Linda?
I can't see it. What's the title?
The Purple Violet of Oshantu.
Oh, I like the name.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
The
Purple Violet of Oshantu is written by Nishani Andreas. It was written by her. That's the only novel she published, and then he passed away from a lung concert, I think she had.
Oh.
This is the only one she wrote. And this one deals with domestic abuse. Once again, HIV spreading in Africa, and also all the heaviness of traditions. Because this woman here, she's married to a man who, she's married to her brother's best friend. She's a brilliant woman. She was a brilliant woman, and her parents was expecting her to go to university and everything. And she falls in love. And you know how stupid we are when we fall in love. She gave up everything to go with this man. And the problem is, this man is full of complex. He knows that this woman deserves better than what he's able to, he can ever give her, because he's not educated, and he's not beautiful. You know, sometimes God can be cruel. You can be stupid and ugly. So this guy was
oh my gosh.
He married.
You make me laugh.
And the thing is, for him to feel like he's the man of the house, is gonna disrespect, beat this woman. The story is told by a neighbor, a best friend. You know, the narrator in the story is not the main character. She tells the story from what she sees and what this character comes to confide. She comes to confide in her and tells her what she's going through, etc., etc. There's one character in here that I really loved, because she reminded me of, you know, for those of you who have read Marlon James's Night Woman, you know, the woman remind me of that woman who's eating Lily. It is so, she scares me almost. She's so bold. She doesn't fear men. She doesn't dread anything. When she has something to say, she doesn't beat around the bush. She goes to you and tells you, even if you can kick her ass, she comes and speaks. So this woman, I think she's going to, what will happen is that her husband is going to die. And in-laws will conclude to the fact that she's the one who killed her husband, because her husband was neglecting her and beating her and everything. But it's not that at all. So we are going to be given all the explanations and everything. And yes, it's worth reading. I highly recommend this one.
And it's only one.
Could you say the author's name again, please?
Nishani Andreas. So it spells N-E-S-H-A-N-I, and then Andrea, like R. Kelly's wife, but with the S added to it. Yes, okay. R. Kelly. I said it. R. Kelly. Don't be mad at me. I said his name. Okay. Nigeria.
Another one.
Oh wow. I
said I had to recommend, because I don't see them on Booktube. So y'all gonna read the authors and do your research. Whether you like it or not, y'all gonna talk about it on channels.
You guys can't sleep on Marina. You can't sleep on her. She got the goods.
Wow, all the goods apparently.
Don't sleep on Marina.
Okay, let's go. Efuru was the first ever published novel by a female author in Africa. And that author, of course, is Flora Nwapa. This was a very first published novel. But what I would say, if you want to start with Flora Nwapa, I will recommend you start with this one.
What's that one called?
One is Enough. One is Enough tells the story of this woman who's barren. Oh, she's thought to be barren. She's married to a guy. And yes, as usual, the mother-in-law doesn't want her in the house anymore. She throws her out because a woman in their village claims that the son, she has two sons, and she claims that those sons are this woman's husband's son. So the mother-in-law conclude that if a son can, have children, it means that the woman, our main character, he's the one who is barren. She doesn't fight much. She leaves the house and decides to go join her mother because her mother was telling her in the beginning to leave that good-for-nothing husband of her. But a woman in love is always stupid. I don't know how brilliant women can be, but when they are in love, they're so dumb. She her husband's house. She meet this man of God, the one you see here. And she go confide in the man, and what shouldn't have happened, happened. And now this woman is pregnant. I stop there.
Who's the author? Who's the author?
Flora Nwapa.
Flora Nwapa.
Nwapa, yeah. Nwapa.
Exactly. Flora Nwapa. This is the one I would recommend for you to start with, and then you read Efuru.
Efuru.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's easily you can easily find this one, Efuru, because this is the one that everybody talks about, and it has already been republished or whatever. But I would recommend One is Enough first. But
these are the comments on the people are saying they're hoping that we can access all of these books from our library or whatnot. So
they're also asking for a list.
Put it on ebook. You could probably get them on ebook.
That's what I always think. Ebooks are probably going to be your friend if you can't get it.
If you can't find it in the library, you could probably find it on ebook.
Yeah.
This one is for Michael. Michael reads. I'm holding this for him. I hope he'll see it. Miss Ophelia by Mary Burnett Smith. It's a coming of age. That's why I say he's going to love it.
What you talked about in your video.
Yeah, because I love her storytelling. I don't know why nobody talks about her. Mary Burnett Smith. And this one here deals with colorism, illiteracy. Comment on dit illettricité?
Illiteracy.
Voila. And many other things. The story takes place in, I think it's Alabama, or it's in the South of America.
Yeah.
United States. And the main character, Isabel, everybody calls her Bella, apart from Miss Ophelia, who's here, who's beautiful, intelligent, but she's dark-skinned. Yeah. She's dark.
What's the name of the book? Miss Ophelia?
Ophelia. And she's a piano teacher. She's the one who's going to teach this lady to play piano. And my gosh, she could have had a beautiful love story with another character in this book, which they ended up having. But she is dark-skinned, and in the back in those days, they had this paper bag color thing. Yeah. I don't know. You know that? You American people.
Yeah, that you hold up to your face. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you couldn't even hold it to her hands. Even our hands were dark. So yeah, that was a problem. Isabella is an avid reader, but her parents don't have enough money to buy her books. By the way, she's raised by a single mother because her father died at war. So she's being raised by her mother and her uncle, a mother's brother. And the event, because a mother does the cleaning, you know, she cleans people clothes, and then the uncle goes and delivers the clothes to those rich white families. And one of those white people will decide to give Isabella's books, just because she wasn't sure that a black woman, a black girl could read that much. So she tried, you know, to ask her what the books were about, etc., etc. So you need to read it. The story is very interesting, and to see how people, at which extent people will go. They will even, you know, attempt to their own life to make sure that their children will not be dark-skinned. I know, come on.
I know.
Self-hatred. But I loved Isabella. And also one thing, she has a friend in there, and her friend is 2 years older than her. Isabella gonna be 11 years old, and her friend is 30 maybe, and she's pregnant. And her mother, the mother doesn't want the news to be spread, so she decided that a child gotta go elsewhere and have the baby and put it to adoption and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, she's an hypocrite. That's what I'll stop there.
Yeah.
I will say too much. You just need to read the book. Miss Ophelia, Mary Burnett Smith. And another author, and that will be my last rec, because I know many people are like, oh.
No, we love it. This is fantastic.
The whole page, but that's okay. Keep it moving. That's good.
The last one I'm going to show you is this woman, and I hope that some of you know about her. Her name is Marita Golden.
Oh, yeah.
The first book of her that I read was Long Distance Life. Okay, it is set also in the 60s. Naomi, the main character, she's a matriarch or matriarch, as they say. She tells the story of a family in 3 generations. You will see what's going on, how it deals with drug addiction, racism, and many things. But yeah, it's worth reading, and I'm not going to say much about it. If Freeform Lady, I think, read this book and did a review of it also, but she was the only one I saw talking about this one in particular. And the other one I want to talk about, still by Marita Golden, is A Woman's Place. This one is a sister story, kind of. It tells the story of 3 friends who met at university, and we will see how their friendship will grow up, and as they changes, because what I love about this book is that each character comes to tell their point of view, to tell the story, giving us their point of view and talking about the others. So Crystal will tell you about the others, and we see how different they become growing up. One of them will go settle to Africa, will get married to, she will accept to settle in a polygamous marriage, which she fought against when she was living in America, right? Because she's not African at all. She's African-American. But when she makes it to Africa, falls in love with a man who's already married, blah, blah, blah. One of the characters, 15 years older than her. And she turns into Islam. She gives up Christianity because the guy is also a Muslim, blah, 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 blah. And the third one, and that will be the catastrophe of the story, let's say, she dares marry a white man. And he's the one, she comes from the South. And her parents spent all their money for her education, and they expected her to be somebody good and great. And for them, for their baby to be considered to be good and great, she has to marry within a race. But she doesn't do that. She marries a white man, and at a certain point, even a family member don't want to talk to her anymore because they feel like they wasted their money on her. Wow. Yes, I loved it. I really loved it. What I loved above all was, no matter how different their lives were, they were not judging each other. They were always there for each other. They were there to listen to their friends with everything they were facing in life. So I'd like to have this type of friendship, to have these kind of friends who are always there for you, no matter what you do,
right.
You know, no matter what your choices are,
Right.
they stand by your side because of who you are, not because of who you're or who you're not seeing or whatever. This book is very good. Okay, A Woman's Place. So it takes us to Africa, in the Caribbean, and also in the United States of America.
Is that in the author is Marita
Golden.
Marita Golden, yeah.
She also has many nonfiction books. The one I really loved when I read it was Don't Play in the Sun, but it deals with colorism. Yes, Don't Play with the Sun is kind of autobiographical because it was a grandma who told her not to play in the sun when she was very young, because if she did, she would not find somebody to marry her if she was darker than the paper bag.
Sure.
You know, that's where it keep coming.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So voila. And right now, I already told you in my last video that I'm reading Sans Capote ni Kalashnikov. The books I'm reading right now are French. That's why I didn't show you any writers from my country. Sans Capote ni Kalashnikov is set within the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Canada and the United States also. So yeah, this is what I'm reading. And I'm also reading Il est à toi ce beau pays, but I think this is going to take me 3 or 4 months because it's a chunker. And I'm not a quick reader. And this one is very, very good. It takes place in America, and in Africa, and in Europe, because it deals with the human trade, the slavery, and everything. So voila.
What's the name of that one?
Il est à toi ce beau pays. It's in French.
Okay.
Jennifer Richard. She's from Guadeloupe. She's from the island, the Caribbean, and this one. So voila, I'm done. Sorry for.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Bravo.
Wow.
That was really good.
So voila.
Okay.
I love it.
All right. Let's see what the people are saying.
They're saying a lot. I can't even keep up with reading it.
I hope they weren't asking me questions because I didn't answer any of the questions I'm going to read.
Isha's been doing a great job of like writing the titles. I'm kind of going back to get the spelling of things from her, of all the books.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to try.
Somebody's asking about Latina recommendations. I have to say I'm not very good at that. I have not read very many.
I have this woman.
I can think of is
this woman. She's from Puerto Rico. Her name is Yolanda Arroyo Pizarro. Yolanda Arroyo Pizarro, and I think this one has been translated into English, but not yet in French. And the title in Spanish is Las Negras. Of course, it deals with la esclavitud, the slavery and everything. She also has a collection of poetry, Saita poems. These poems are written in English mostly, and few of them are in Spanish.
And what's the author's name?
Yolanda. Let me write it on the chat.
Okay.
Let me try. Yolanda.
Yep. Got that one. That's an easy one to spell.
Arroyo. Yolanda Arroyo Pizarro.
Okay.
She's a queer woman, and she has many novels out there. But if you don't want to know about anything she writes, she always writes from a lesbian perspective, except for this one. So if you're not interested into having this kind of novel, be aware. Yes, she is lesbian and proud of it, and work she deals a lot about that.
Okay.
You were talking about, Latin, whatever. She's Puerto Rican. I consider her to be Latin, isn't it? Even if she's dark, people do not acknowledge it.
It's excellent.
I love her. Voila.
I love it.
All right. Well, that's got a whole page of.
I know, it's awesome.
These book chats, I have like a lot of recommendations that I've been writing down. So that's really good. It's an eye opener. It's good to get surefire good book titles.
Let me see another one. I spelled it wrong.
Yeah, people are writing.
People are writing it. So you can go and look and see how it's spelled, because my ear hears different than what it's really spelled like.
Yeah, I just went to Goodreads and just added everything to my Read So Lit.
Yeah, I did too.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Mm-hmm.
I wrote it down, but I looked at it on Goodreads.
That's great.
Let's see. Let's see.
Let's spell that one right either.
Okay, yeah, people are still. Marina's still writing the names. Everybody's asking me the names. All right. Well.
Excellent.
It's been a very good chat.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's been an excellent chat. We definitely have to keep doing these.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to flesh out some ideas. I think those ideas,
like maybe once a month or something like that, at least, and try to just get like, I don't know, whoever is available. Mm-hmm. Whoever. There's so many of us. There were so many people who wanted to do these and they just couldn't.
Yeah.
Things popped up and they couldn't do it, you know, because I mean, like I had asked Ray at Books, she wanted to do it, but then, you know, her work schedule was all messed up.
Yeah.
But she couldn't do it. Who else? There was BooksAndBigHair. She couldn't do it. Family decided to drop by on a visit, so it wasn't available.
Yeah.
Bree didn't do it because she didn't have a computer. There's lots of people that I asked that they couldn't do it because they're just busy. So we can always pick this up and just, you know, say, okay, somebody host, and you pick the time or whatever, and you ask, you know, people who, you know, who's available and see who's available, and try to get 5 or 6 people.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, discuss what, you know, what books you're reading, discuss, you know, recommendations, because I mean, it's great to get recommendations.
Right.
People that we trust, you know, that we
right.
follow. It's something we can do, and then at the same time, we should still keep thinking about that big project, the Black Book Riot project, because
Black Pages, within Black Pages or something like that.
Yeah,
whatever.
I think that's worth exploring. That whole idea is worth exploring.
Yeah, or even just start small, like the themes, you know, themes for each month, and whoever can participate, and however, you know, that might be, you know, like I thought this was great because she just had so many lists of different countries and different African countries like that. I mean, I'm so excited to go look for these books now. But I mean, if we have different themes each month, everybody can look forward to knowing they're going to get, you know, because everybody reads different things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, and it's also a way of getting the spotlight put on some books that would normally never really get the spotlight.
Right. Yeah, I didn't hear any of these books. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's been, you know, it's been great for that. And I think, you know, it's up to us to keep that moving and keep that going. Yeah. Because I don't, you know, I don't think we can count on, you know, Booktube to embrace that kind of literature. They're just not gonna, it's not gonna happen. And you have to stop, you know, wanting people to embrace it and just, you know, do our thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Do it, you know, and also it's good, you know, encouraging people to come out of their shells and do a group collab, because then it's a chance for other people to see them, and maybe they don't know them, and it's a good chance for people to get some subscribers and get people following them. And
encourage people to make more videos. I started strong in January, but I'm kind of fading again, so I gotta get on it.
Well, I think what you have to do is it's like at the beginning of the year, everybody makes all of these fancy I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then they had nothing. I think what you have to do is just keep it simple. Make your goal doable. I will do a video once a week, or I'll do a video once every 2 weeks, and stick to that. Keep other promises. Keep it simple. Once a week is not difficult. To put a video up once a week, it's not that difficult. If it's really,
I read so slow. That's my thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna. Well, something on the second. I don't know.
You get your week to read a book at the end of the week. You just upload your video at the end of the week, or every 10 days, I'll do a video or something like that.
Yeah.
But don't start doing these highfalutin, promises that you're never going to keep. Because it's just because you know how it is. Booktube, when you make that promise and it doesn't come through, like I'm gonna do 3 videos a week or whatever.
Never.
Usually 2 weeks after you've said it, you've already not done it.
That's like TBRs. I can't say a TBR because it's almost like I know I'm never gonna read those books now. I've already
take it with a grain of salt. I'm like, yeah, I might get to this, may not.
I would call it book option.
I think the videos that I love the most are those that you make without planning them. Like Linda, and I'm going back to you again, Linda.
Yes.
Video, you took us with you looking for books,
Yes.
Got roasted, and you had this comment popping, etc. That was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you were in the library, even if you didn't buy all the books, which I expected you to do, because I think you're a billionaire now. I expect you to buy all the books, but you came and you showed us the one you bought, and you were reading them without making any kind of promise to us.
Yeah.
So when you come back to your channel, we know that you have read this one or that one because you're sharing. And I think those videos are more interesting than the one where people tell you, I'm going to read this or that or that. Because me personally, I never stick to a TBR. The best way for me not to read a book is to tell me this. I'm going to go for something else. Definitely not for the TBR, because I have a TBR made of 40 or 60 books. So when I wake up in the morning, I just flip the file and look for something. But if I stick to TBR, I will spend a month without reading any book, because my mind will be set on something else rather than the one I said I was going to read.
Me too.
But the thing is, it's like if you're not a content creator, like if you weren't, creating content, you would probably organically go towards a book. Like you would read a book. Sometimes you read books, and then that book inspires you to read another book.
Yes.
Because of what you just read. Or you say, oh, I really like that book by that author. Let me just go read something else by that same author, because that's the problem with when making content is sometimes we get stuff all screwed up because we're trying to race behind, what other people are reading, or behind keeping up with the Joneses, or I don't know what it is.
No,
but
it's true.
We get
I can't read that many. Some people look like, this is a great reading month. I read 15 books. I'm like, what? I read 15 books the whole year.
I'm gonna have to say what along with you, because I have a life. I got a job to go to.
I can't read. I don't have as much time.
But I don't know how to do that. But the fast readers. I mean, people think I read fast, but I really don't. When I have time to read, I sit there and I read like 2-3 hours. I'm sitting there reading.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fast reader. When I have the time, I take the time to read as maximum as I can.
Right.
And when I don't, I can't because I'm working or I'm doing other stuff and I don't have time to read. So I think you do
audiobooks too. That helps because then I can listen to them when I'm cooking or doing something else too.
If you have the audiobook, you can help. It can help be able to still do.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
So I think we just have to stop being so damn hard on ourselves.
I know.
Yeah, very true.
Just try to, read like we read before we were content creators.
Yeah.
Pick up a book and read it and enjoy it. And then once we finish that book, we can figure out what we want to read after because we'll say, oh yeah, that was set in the Caribbean. I'm feeling the Caribbean flow. Let me get another Caribbean book.
Yeah.
We read another book by that same author, or I just saw, in the newspaper or in the magazine they were talking about this writer, which is similar to this one that I just finished reading. Let me read that.
Right.
We forget about the ways that we used to discover how to read books naturally. When you go to the bookstore, you don't necessarily look for a particular book. Sometimes you can go and browse. Browse. You not even buy anything. Like when you go to the library, you browse.
Right.
Yeah. But also for me, it's so important, to still enjoy my reading,
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I love reading and I've loved it for a long time. So whether I'm a content creator or not, I still wanna connect to the essence of why I read,
Right.
So sometimes, being too hard on yourself with a schedule or a massive TBR or what's popular, what's happening right now.
Yeah.
You tend to lose that. And I'm such an organic reader. I go with what Didi was saying, one thing leads to another,
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like I have a list of books I want to read in my mind, but it's like that can always change. Like I literally went from reading The Five People I Met Into Heaven to something called My Five Daddies. It was just dirty, okay? It was just weird, which has changed. It's like read what I want to read whenever I want to read it.
But that's more enjoyable,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I think it's definitely more natural, and it's something that everybody should, try to do more because it's true. We're on Instagram all the time, and on Instagram, that kind of it kind of is like a motor in a way, and it kind of pushes you into reading things that you wouldn't necessarily be picking up at that moment. You
can easily be sidetracked from it.
The new books are going to be flowing out. I mean, they're already flowing out. Okay. The new Toni Morrison came out. Yeah, I'm guilty. I picked it because I know I'm going to read it. I'm going to have to read that. Okay. But I mean, there'll be plenty of other new ones coming out. I mean, there's Queenie is coming out. Patsy's coming out. There's a ton of books that are coming out that are new. And it's just, staying true to your reading goals, whatever they are. You don't have to announce them.
Yeah.
Because a reading goal, if you announce a reading goal, that's like killing the reading goal. It's like,
it's done. As soon as it's out of my mouth or on a paper, it's done.
Announcing a reading goal can kill a reading goal. That should be like a like a little thing to say. No, don't announce it. Don't do it. Because you announce it and it's over. Announcing the TBR will kill the TBR.
That's why I don't go on. That's why I stopped using Instagram. Is because I think, and sometimes I'll back away even from BookTube because I feel like I get overwhelmed with all of the things that everybody's saying. They're great books, and I write them down, but then I'm not getting to the books that I have that I really wanted to read because I feel, oh my God, the excitement is around this, and it's distracting. So sometimes I step away and say, not even gonna look at it. And like I said, I haven't been on Instagram in a long time, but
that's like the Marlon James thing right now with Black
anything that's too hype like that.
Oh goodness, I've never seen a book. It's probably the most photographed book online at the moment. I'm not even talking about this Bookstagram. Online.
I have to wait till the hype dies down before I even touch it.
Everywhere.
I always wait for the hype to go down because that's when
me too.
to buy.
Because most people haven't read the book. They're just basing it on what they think.
Well, the thing is, it's like at the moment, I've only heard, like, I mean, if you're on Bookstagram, you've seen Rod Kelly's review.
Mm-hmm.
He did a review he loves Marlon James and he loves that book.
Okay.
Black Leopard, Red Wolf. I mean, his Insta stories are only about that book.
Well, but then that wouldn't make a person that I would necessarily take as making me want to read it. I want somebody that doesn't read that at all, and they like, this came across. That's where I would, because I probably won't like it because that might not be my style.
You know, I've seen a lot of other people haul it on Bookstagram, but I haven't seen anybody else say, yeah, I read it and I really loved it.
Sit back and wait for the criticism.
Even, do a review on it and say, hey, I'm reviewing. No, I haven't seen that many people do that, So
there were some who did a paper on that book. He did a review and say that he didn't like the book, that he gave it only 2 to 3 stars. And then Rod Kelly was mad at him. Like, how can you say that?
Everybody experiences books differently.
Yeah, the person was like, maybe that the book was good for you, but me, from my perspective, my point.
Rod Kelly also said that he didn't like the Poisonwood Bible. He said it was a terrible book. Really?
And I'm like,
really, Rod Kelly? Come on now.
I don't know. Maybe it's too personal to him, so he cannot stand somebody criticizing him, criticizing the book. And I kind of get him, because sometimes when you love a book, you want everybody to love it.
Yeah,
like, how can you not love that book? And then when you back up, you're like, yeah, we don't have the same feeling and the same emotions. We don't have the same experience and background. So you might not. I got to deal with it. We have to agree to disagree when we read books.
Absolutely.
I see you reviewing books and I'm like, I read that one, didn't like it, but I want to know why you liked it, why you loved it, because maybe I missed something. Sometimes it push me to reread the book to see if I really have missed something when I was reading it. And my excuse is always, if the book is in English, it's like, oh, maybe I missed it because English is not my mother tongue. And you have my brother saying, no, you missed that book, even if you would have missed it, even if you had. Stop making excuses.
Well,
you don't like it.
You can ask a musical Tati what she thought about the polished hoe.
No, we're not going back tonight.
She didn't love it. Okay, she didn't love it at all.
You gotta love people.
She still always has some kind of comment to make about that hoe though. Or I mean, did you see her post where she had the book in the bed? It was called Between the Sheets. That the day we did Between the Sheets on the photo challenge. Mm. She had the polished hoe in the bed and she was pulling the covers off of it. Tatiana's a mess. That polished hoe. All right, so that's just a difference of opinion. I still love my Tatiana. She didn't like that polished hoe. Okay.
I don't like all the same books as everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Too. Don't you think it's what you read before? Like, I know that if I read a certain book and something else, even if it is a great book, if I read it behind something that I really, really like, I may not experience it the way I would have because I read something else prior to that. So it's different. You know what I mean? I'm not in the mood for it. And sometimes books, I'll have to put it away. I'm like, I can't read it right now. I'm not really ready for it right now.
Factors why we don't like books. I mean, we can just simply not like it because it's too long, or there was a subject in it that didn't interest us, or it's just not that book didn't find us at the right moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. She didn't like the polished hoe then, but maybe she'd like it now.
No. I don't want Tatiana to leave Booktube because of you. She didn't like that book. She did not. No.
I recently read like The Changeling by Victor Laval, and it had like a lot of magical realism in it. And I was like, and I'm like, Dee Dee would not like this at all. No, and it went on for a while to the point I was like, oh God.
Oh God. No,
Like, I ended up liking it.
No, never.
but I saw him interviewed by what's his name? Yadun interviewed him, and when I saw that it was a magical realism, I was like, oh no, I'm not pass.
Yeah, you should never touch that book because all I could hear in your voice was like, "Why he do this? Why he do that? That didn't make sense."
Okay, now everybody's on the hoe. Now KT says I didn't like that hoe either. I DNF. You guys are wrong.
I never read it, so now I don't know if I should. Uh-oh.
I didn't finish it. The woman, she was talking too much, and I was waiting and waiting. Nothing was happening, so I just, I replaced that on my shelf and was like, Didi, I don't know where you're trying to take me, but I'm not going.
Crescendo, okay?
No.
All at one go. Crescendo, like that.
How much of a hoe was the polished hoe?
No, I have not read that one. That's too funny.
But yeah, so
I'm so slow.
yeah, somebody said the fact that if you're going through a heavy time, a heavy book might not be a welcome read.
Yeah. There's a certain time for a heavy book, and then I usually have to have something light afterwards.
Exactly. I mean, everybody's using palate cleanser, but that's exactly what you need sometimes.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
You read something really, really heavy, and that really stirs you up. You need something to cheer you up a little bit.
The one that you're reading right now, I would need about 2 or 3 palate cleansers after that.
That's why I've been reading it like in little bits, because I said either I have to read this in one sitting.
I don't think I
get
can do
it over
that.
with, or I'm gonna read it in little spurts like that. And I decided to read in little spurts because it's psychologically it's a lot.
Yeah, I've never heard that one. I've heard of the Green Book because of the movie, but I didn't hear that one. So I'm curious about that one.
Yeah,
but
this one is
good. For sure.
It's pretty good. It covers a lot of bases sociologically.
Hey, I have a question before you go. I have a couple books that I got on discount, and I don't know if they're good. If anybody lets me know if they're good. Okay, so look, this one. Did you read this one?
I haven't that one, but I didn't hear anything good about it either.
Really? I only got it for a couple dollars.
Sorry, I'm just saying what I heard. I don't know.
The Good Negress.
I haven't heard anything good about that.
What about this one? This one is Wench, but I like this edition. It's nice.
Wench is awesome.
Tati has read that one.
Dolan Valdez Perkins. Good book.
Okay. All right. 1 out of 2. All right. One last one here. The Supremes sing The Happy Heartache Blues by Edward Kelsey Moore.
Yeah, but have you read The Supremes? All You Can Eat?
Well, this was on sale. So again, when I go into the thrift, I get what I get.
Yeah, but you need to read the first one.
Is the first one good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right, I'll look for that one then.
Yeah, my book club read the first one, and we had a great discussion on it.
Really? Okay. I'll take it. Yeah, those are the ones I got. When I can find them on sale at a thrift and then there's also, well, I don't know if people shop online too, but thrift books.
Mm-hmm.
Shop them. Yeah. They have, really good discounted books. Although I got one the other day with a piece of the cover ripped off, which made me mad, but they're very inexpensive.
Yeah.
So,
but definitely try reading Earl's. So the Supremes at Earl's.
Okay.
The
cover's so pretty on this one. I like that one.
Yeah, it is, and the cover of the other one is really pretty too.
Oh, good. I'm going to look for it. Oh, and it's a male author. I could have said that was a recommendation if I had read it.
It's a Black male author, but he writes Black women as if though he was one. He does it so well.
I always find that interesting.
Very, very good.
Edward Kelsey Moore, that's his name. Okay.
Linda, Have you read a book by Sunyati?
Who?
Sunyati.
Sunyati, no. From where?
Zimbabwe. Okay.
No, I haven't. I've seen it, but I'm yet to read it.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
Giving Rex to everybody, but you know, since you're deserting your channel, maybe you should.
Gold Diggers. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Now.
Who's it by?
That one.
The Gold Diggers.
What's it about?
Gold Diggers.
Quiet, TV.
This is not about the Kardashians, bro. This is not about the Kardashians. The Gold Diggers in South Africa.
Oh, it's South Africa.
Oh, those kind of gold diggers.
Yes.
Okay, so no,
I
it's
do
not
think
about
gold diggers are the same everywhere, though.
No.
What's the author's name?
Sunyati.
Sunyati. Oh yeah, okay, I got it.
Sunyati. Okay.
Her last name is Nyathi.
Yeah.
S-U-E.
She's the one who wrote The Polygamist. And The Polygamist is quite, you will love The Polygamist, Didi. You will love it. I'm sure you will love the Polygamist by the same author, but don't throw it away because of the male character. I know you will hate the male character, but you'll love the book.
You guys know me so well. Why? Because is it a lot like Baba Segi's Wives?
Differently. Yeah, it deals with polygamy, but differently. Yeah. And he also tackles the HIV spreading.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why, but for a given period in my life, I kind of read 4 or 5 books dealing with that in different African countries. They were dealing with HIV. I was like, God, what have I done? Is it a sign? Is it something you want to teach me? Because all the books I was reading in that period were dealing with that. And even The Polygamist, I didn't pick it because of that. I picked it because of the title. And then our take on the polygamy is different from the one in Baba Segi. Because in Baba Segi, everybody agreed and everybody knew about the polygamy.
Yeah, they all knew about it. Yeah.
No. In this book, you know, the women kind of starts, you know, they are hidden. The man just goes from girl to girl without telling them exactly what he's doing. And when the women find out, they kind of bond also because they're not given any kind of chance to even fight over the man. They stay there because of the economic situation and stuff like that. Yeah. So voila. But it's very interesting. It's interesting. Different. Polygamy, but differently. And the thing is, when I felt like the male character wasn't finished properly, I was mad at him till the last word, but I wanted something very hard to eat him. Even death could not be enough, you know. I didn't like him. I really, really couldn't stand it.
What's the deal with authors ending their books in an open way? It seems to be that a lot of authors are doing that. It's really like, I don't know, ending the story wrapped up, you know, even if it's not, you know, a good ending, it's wrapped up. But they're not wrapping it up. They're kind of like leaving it like hanging open. And
no, I hate it.
I don't like that either.
No. If you take me for a ride, I'd rather you give me a ending that I don't like, then I will be able to criticize it and say, okay, I didn't like the ending. Yeah. I wish you could have done it differently, rather than you telling me, oh, now you can do whatever you want. If you want them to live happily ever after, do it. No, either you're a writer or you're not a writer. You're telling me the story. You start to finish it.
I think that's a popular thing to do, but I don't think it's a successful thing to do.
Are they leaving it open just so they can have like sequels to their books?
No,
it's a sequel thing, and that's what makes it even worse. Because I mean, at least if it was a sequel, you'd be like, okay, they're hanging me off the cliff for a reason. I can come back and read the sequel, but there isn't going to be a sequel, and they're just leaving you like, what's happening?
You use your imagination, and you're like, you're supposed to be the writer. Tell me.
No, I don't like that. I don't like it in movies either. I can't stand the critics start to rule. No,
I'm not a fan, and it's something that is. I feel like it's more prevalent. I mean, do you guys feel like that?
Somebody wants to see your sweatshirt, so back up and show the. You want to see it?
She started leaning, and I'm like, oh, I like that. I want it.
With some color.
Is it a sweater?
Huh?
Is it a sweater or a shirt?
It's a sweatshirt.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's a sweatshirt. So it's kind of an oversized one. So I'm comfy at home with this one.
I like that.
The design is beautiful. That
pretty.
Just like me.
Strong Black woman.
So sometimes I like open-ended books, but sometimes I don't. It just depends on like how it's done.
Yeah, and it depends on how open it is. You know what I mean? Like if it's leaving you like really hanging, like okay, well, like almost like they didn't finish their thought. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's really. I think it's a
hard.
That's the thing that that annoys me the most is when it's a little bit too open. I just don't understand why. I don't know if it's because the writer doesn't know how to end it.
Yeah.
Is that really the reason why they don't know how to end it, or is they won't end it? I don't know, but I think that's something that is part of like when you make a story, you kind of want to be so that things are resolved, even if the ending is bad. Well,
right.
That's not the right. That's not the. I don't mean it like bad, but like even if something bad happens to the character,
right,
that you like most, it's better that you know at least what happens to them,
right,
than to not know at all.
Yeah.
I almost had a fight with a good friend of mine over a book we both read, and she gave the book 5 stars. The book is this one, L'Or des Femmes by Mombo Emeniali. She gave this book 5 stars, and I gave it 4 stars. And when she asked me why did I give it only 4 stars, I told her it was because of the ending, because the ending was too open, and it was up to us. She said, "Yeah, but that's the reason why I gave it 5 stars, because I could, whatever I wanted them to be like, whatever I wanted their life to be."
No, I want you to tell me the story fully.
I didn't like it because of that. The story is very interesting. I almost thought while reading this book that it was a 5 stars, and then I reached the ending, and I was like, no. I want more. I want you to tell me this or that, and then I will have questions to ask you, because even when she was in Paris to talk about the book, I didn't attend. Just because of that, I was pissed. And I told my friend, I'm not going. You have to give me something to ask over.
Yeah.
I want to read the book or love the book. I don't care. Tell me what happens to them. And the love story was interesting, but it's a kind of a love triangle. So at the end, we want you to use your imagination. I'm like, c'est trop facile. That's
what's the book called again?
L'Or des Femmes. It's set in the Congo, on my father's side of the Congo Brazzaville, and it deals with the traditions. If I should sum it up, I would say that this girl, this beautiful girl, was set to marry a rich man. Her family are ready for her to marry that rich man, but she meets a young boy who turns out to be a teacher, and she falls in love with the teacher. But the teacher is poor, He's a teacher in Africa, not a teacher in a country where teachers are worth something. So the family prepared her mentally to get married to that old man. But there's a tradition in our in the country where when a woman is in her teenage years, she has to go through let's say like a formation. She got to be to spend a month alone and taken care of and taught certain things on how to satisfy a man. And she is prepared for that man in particular, you know. So yeah, something will happen. And the guy they want that young girl to marry has already have 5 wives, you see? And the teacher is
come on.
And the ending could have been fantastic just for that. You know, who is she going to choose? Who is she going to spend the rest of her life with, etc. And then it's up to you. If you want her to live her life with the old man, you can make it up in your mind. Or if you want her to be with a young boy,
then they can tell you in the beginning of the story, it's a choose your own story type thing. So, you know, like the kids. Otherwise, you tell me a story, beginning, middle, end, and period. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, but that sounds like those games we play where they set you up, they tell you the first line, and they say, okay, you get to this point now. It's either road A or B.
Yeah,
I pick A. Okay, then you go over there. It's like road 1 or 2.
No. No.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of not knowing how to end it.
Yeah.
Part of the problem. But even I think not knowing how to end something, I mean, it's your damn story. You should at least know where you want your characters to wind up.
Yes.
You know, how do you want them to wind up? Dead, alive, married, maimed, what? Educated, or how do you want them to end up? You know, and I think simply making a decision and making it happen at the end. For some reason, they're not doing that. They're opting out by saying, okay, let's kind of make it open. That's a little bit the only reason why I didn't give Praise Song for the Butterflies 5 stars. It's because of that damn ending.
Yeah.
Remember, I'll talk about the Silver Sparrow, Didi.
Oh my God. Silver Sparrow.
I was so pissed. I was like, and I met Kyrie Jones that week when I was done reading the book. I would be in jail now because I would have killed her. I was like, wow.
They did that in that book too?
After reading
that one.
To be honest, Silver Sparrow had a few other defaults in it. Already, the default for me was, or the story became less interesting when they changed perspectives.
Yeah, the second part was
perspective of the young girl who is the, what do you call it? The family that the man is having an affair with. That young girl, her point of view is much more interesting than the legitimate daughter's point of view. But what she does is, I think it's about halfway through, she changes, and it's, no, maybe a little bit more than half of the book. She changes to the perspective of the legitimate daughter's voice. And suddenly the book just started to unravel for me a little bit. You know,
I didn't care about the second legitimate daughter. I couldn't care less about that character. I was like, everything was
the voice wasn't interesting. It wasn't as interesting as the illegitimate daughter's voice. But that ending, ugh, it's like horrible.
If I could push that down on my TBR.
Yeah, I would not recommend it.
Good though?
It's a very good book, though. It's the book in itself is good. The ending wasn't good, and I think that the legitimate daughter was created that way on purpose. I think she wanted us to love the first character, Dana, more than her sister. She wanted it, but the thing she missed was the ending. The ending was rushed, and it wasn't, you know,
it was rushed.
Was that the author's first book? Was that her first book?
No,
Leaving Atlanta was the first, wasn't it?
I think it was her second book.
No, it's her third. The first one, Atlanta, and then she wrote The Entailing. I didn't like The Entailing, and then Silver.
You're the third person that has said they didn't like The Untelling. What the heck is in that book?
I never heard of those.
If you think that Silver Sparrow on the second part was weak or not really interesting, then try The Untelling. You tell me, try it. I was like, no.
That's a bad sign.
The kind of you wanna slap the main character. You wanna just get in the book and shake her and tell her to wake up, to start acting foolishly. I don't know. I didn't blame her, even if what she was going through was painful. She was stupid, plainly stupid, and her voice was weak. And the character construction didn't do it for me. I was like, oh no, I expected more from this.
That's a shame.
No.
Well, I think she did well with American Marriage.
I like that one.
There's some real improvement going on with her writing in American Marriage. The way she
was good. I thought it was a bit overhyped book.
It's not the best book I've read, but having read Silver Sparrow.
So you liked it better than Silver Sparrow?
Oh, hell yeah. A lot better.
Really? Okay.
Oh, yeah, a lot better. The writing is better. The construction idea, the story is done really well. I think the best thing she does in that story is the letter writing.
I do too. That was a good way to get you. Yeah. Letter
writing is done really well. And she ends the book. She ends it.
Did. Yeah.
Silver Sparrow, no, she didn't end that. She just messed us over. Yeah, she messed us over with that one. But yeah, I mean, some people could say it's a bit overhyped. I wouldn't give it a 5 stars, but I gave it a 4 stars. I really liked it.
Everywhere. That was one I did read while it was hyped out, but I just tried to block it out. But yeah, I think it was a little bit overhyped.
But I didn't read it until this past summer. I read it in August of last summer.
Maybe that's
I didn't
see when I read it. I didn't read it when it first came out, but it talked about it a long time. It was on every list, everything,
I had the book here and I didn't read it until August because I was just so sick of seeing it everywhere. It's a little bit like Black Leopard. I mean, we're seeing it so much.
Probably did that with Colson Whitehead, although I did like his book, the Underground Railroad. But that one they talked about forever and ever. I just was like, be quiet.
I didn't read that one.
But just, give us a break for a minute.
I waited 7 months before I read it.
I'm always behind too, but it's fine with me.
It was a lot. I mean, it was all over the place. But, it was all over the place, but people were actually saying they liked it and people were saying they didn't like it. So that's felt a bit.
Definitely mixed reviews. Yeah, definite. Yep.
But like, Black Leopard, Red Wolf is, okay, well, not many people have reviewed it, so anything to go on. But,
but that one they're already making me, tired of hearing about it. I won't even touch it.
I am definitely tired of hearing about it.
I have it on hold from the library.
I haven't heard.
On hold for a long time.
There's 7 people ahead of me.
Yeah,
it's a lot. Like we're seeing it too much, I think, but.
But then that goes back to what we were talking about before. It's like certain authors, it's like they just get the full attention. Whereas, if you just step back for a minute and publicize some of these other people, he's already known and he won. Didn't he win the Man Booker?
Yeah, he won the Man.
Okay, so he doesn't need publicity.
No, he doesn't.
Some other people could be getting in the spotlight with other types of stories. I don't know. I just get annoyed with it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's just
how it is in the industry.
Sadly, how the cookie crumbles at the moment. Is that people that have, that are getting awards left and right are getting a lot of the attention, and people that, that's why I feel it's great for Tayari Jones, because she's, had written and for a while and hadn't gotten the attention that she, that she would normally get. But this is the thing, is when you get the attention, it's not necessarily for your best written book. Sometimes you an author getting all this attention is for the book that's maybe not your best per se.
Came at the right time.
Laurie Jones, it is her best. Marlon James, I don't know if it's his best because I haven't read all of his books. I've only read A Brief History. So A Brief History I really liked. But you know, so I don't know. I'll have to read the Book of Night Women.
Dee Dee, they're saying on the chat, could you move your camera? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have to, you know, I'll have to see, you know, what
I'm like practicing sleeping over here. So
he's written. Is it better or not? Or is it just as good? So I'm just gonna have to you know, wait and see. But you know, in order for other people to get publicity, everybody kind of has to do that publicity, you know, despite what other people are doing.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. Somebody said, I hope people like Black Leopard, Red Wolf because the hype is definitely setting some expectations. Yeah, but this is the problem with hype. You know, like when it starts getting hype, you know, everybody's expecting some great stuff. So if they start reading it and not feeling the great stuff, then they're going to be disappointed, you know. You know, so that's the difficulty with that.
Hi, Diddy, and everybody else. Unfortunately, I have to say goodbye.
Oh.
It's 3:15.
Yeah, I just realized it's already 2 a.m. and
I am fading very, very
break it up, dudes.
Here's the snoring.
So I'm just going to thank everybody.
So happy to see you and
get some
thank
sleep.
So lovely to chat with you. Thank you so much, and for the great book recommendations.
Thanks for coming and hanging out.
Wonderful hanging out.
Get some sleep so you can make some videos.
Hey?
Get some sleep so you can make some videos.
Yes, exactly.
No pressure, no pressure.
No pressure.
Take it now.
We expect a video tomorrow. Okay.
Tomorrow at 6 a.m. Okay, ladies. Thank you so much, Didi.
Yeah. Stay on for a minute. I'm just going to shut off the chat and stay on for a minute.
Okay.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Pleasure.
Bye.